Oh, righty. Oh no, I'm not set up yet. All right. If you are in the chat already, please let me know if you can hear me. I don't think I'm set up all the way like I need to. Let's see. Check my own audio. If you can hear me, say hi. Oh, come on. Waiting for this to load. It's taking forever. Is my audio working? Is my audio working? I think so. I heard myself on that one. While I'm trying to get the last little bit set up, welcome everybody. I don't know why I was doing some last minute reading, trying to get a good show. Alrighty. Last minute reading. And let's see who's here. Say what's up if you can hear me. Oh no. Wrong setting. All right. So if anybody else was going to jump in, this will be the time. Where do I want to start at today? I got a couple of good stories, but it's going to probably end up being a more heavily Apple influenced podcast tonight. Apple is in the news heavy, so we'll probably move that towards the end. I'm going to start. Let's see. Let's start with handheld gaming. So, if you are a fan of gaming and pretty much, I feel like everybody else is kind of heading that same direction like I am, where you don't get a chance to spend majority of your time at home anyway. You know, you're always on the go. You're ripping and running around, and it makes it difficult for you to have a chance to really enjoy a video game like you really want to. As an avid gamer, I sympathize. So when I started noticing the market start moving towards handhelds, I thought it might have been a fad. The Steam Deck, and then you had the ROG Ally by Asus, and then you end up having the Lenovo Legion Go. So if you took all three of those handhelds and you start looking at the pros and cons of them, you start noticing some very important caveats. These handhelds are pretty powerful. They're a lot more powerful than you might give them at first glance. And I was very shocked at the performance of them, even so much so at the ability of their playing, like literally playing pretty decent games. Nothing too heavy. We're not talking about um, Destiny 2 on the go, because I'm a big Destiny fan. So if you if you need somebody to run a raid with, holla at your boy. It's Keon on Destiny. Um, but the ability of these handhelds to actually be a lot more powerful and productivity at the same time. So they have double duty. And what was it? They interviewed Phil Nicholson, which that man gets around. He's been pretty much with every gaming industry company in the last 10 years. I mean, he was on Sony, then he left Sony, went to Stadia, then he went from Stadia to went to Microsoft. The man gets around. But it's going to be interesting to really see what this direction is. And in this article here from, let me pull this up, Tech Radar, Microsoft handheld gaming PC plan is the next chapter of Xbox brand. And this is something very different. Xbox as a brand has been fading away. Maybe it's almost like Microsoft is trying to, like, I wouldn't say smother it, but they're not really pushing it as much. And I would presume that the reason why they're not pushing it as much is because they're making, I feel like they're going to make Windows as the ecosystem. I don't know what the ecosystem name is going to end up being, but I feel that the ecosystem overall is going to end up being Windows itself. Because as a person who's, I feel I can't really call myself a hardcore gamer. I haven't built a gaming PC in a long time, and I haven't really had a need for it. But I'm always on the go, and portability has been the ultimate factor for me. Trying to take my video games on the go, which is why I was a big advocate towards Google Stadia. It was me using my cell phone I already have. I could play video games off of, plug a controller into the USB-C port. Bam, I got my controller. I'm playing my game while I'm, doing Uber pickups. That was the holy grail for me. But it didn't come out that way. So now you're starting to get to the place where a lot of these handhelds, quote unquote, are starting to pop up. The Steam Deck being one. I have the little Lenovo Legion Go, which, I mean, understand it is a powerhouse in sheep's clothing. Uh, if you needed a raving review about it, here's my review. It's a must-have, especially if you're trying to do multiple things. If not, gaming is not just the top priority. Windows on it runs very good. The problem is the UI on a small screen. Windows doesn't play well with small screens, and the targets need to be bigger. Which, in this article, they talked to Phil Nicholson. Let's see where I can find this. They end up talking to him about it. Yeah, Phil Spencer. Sorry, they started talking to him about it. And he said that um they need to do real work when it comes to the handheld PC gaming side. I can tell you where the I would say the cons are is the UI when you make Windows real small. The pros is you could take that same Lenovo and plug it into a dock and you instantly have a computer. I mean, like, you go from handheld PC to um, full on Windows desktop in seconds. What's going on, Archie? How you doing? Oh, tonight's topics. We're talking about handheld gaming, and we got some Apple news that we're gonna do a rundown on. Apple seem to have taken over my news feed as of late, so I'm gonna be getting to that a little bit later. And what is it? The Qualcomm X Elite processor. So that's I think that's what we got on deck for tonight. But right now we're talking about the handhelds. So I wanted to let people know, and I feel that handheld gaming and gaming on the go is getting ready to take a huge paradigm shift. Uh, Portable gaming has always been sought after. I mean, people have done crazy mods. They've put what is it? A PlayStation 2 with a DVD um screen so they can play their PlayStations on the go. I mean, we've done crazy things, book bags with PlayStations in them and Xbox in them, screens that bolt onto the console. We are always trying to figure out a way to make things portable, make things accessible so we can play on the go. I mean, you go, who hasn't gone over to their aunt's, uncle's, grandma house and brought their console with them? I'm just saying, like, we all try to do it because we want to play our games while we're out of town. And I think that the handheld market, which you have to give credit where credit's due, Nintendo, which I'm not a big fan of Nintendo, but Nintendo paved the way for the idea of um, handhelds being a little bit more uh, available because the Lenovo Legion Go gets its inspiration from the Nintendo Switch. The controllers on the side here, the controllers on the side here on the edge, they detach, and basically you just get that full on screen, and have at thee. But it works great. It's a little different. Like if you placed it on the table and started playing with the Joy Cons in your hand, it it's completely different. I mean, it takes some time to get used to, but once you get used to it, you actually do pretty good with it. It got a couple little other tricks up its sleeve, but uh, everybody else already on YouTube has already done like 15,000 reviews, which means that you could actually start seeing these handhelds start becoming a thing. I mean, a lot of these reviews are averaging 10K, 20K views on YouTube, which means that I feel that the handheld market is starting to grow. And you were talking about being able to take your Steam deck or your Steam library with you on the go because Steam is preloaded. You could load Steam onto the Lenovo and the Ally and play your Steam game, which plays native on the device. I wish that they did kind of like a Xbox style where you have your PC at home and then you can log in with the Steam Deck or log in with the Ally or the Lenovo. They do it locally, but they don't do it over the network. I feel like that is a missed opportunity. You would have more people build PCs and then have a handheld, but they can also play on the go. That's just me. That's not what they did. But with the Lenovo, I got mine on Amazon, which I upgraded for the 2 terabyte. And the only way you can get the 2 terabyte is somebody has to do it for you. So if you buy it pre-configured, I think it's like 512 gigs of RAM and then 1 terabyte. But to get the 2 terabyte one, you have to send it off. What is it? Micro Center. Micro Center sells the 2 terabyte on Amazon. So if you're just curious about it, 2 terabytes of hard drive space on this little thing work just fine. So if you're curious, go to Tech Radar, read this article, leave in the comments below. Let me know what you think. I think that handheld gaming is getting ready to start exploding as more and more people are not able to be how can you say it? We're always on the go. I'm always on the go. I'm barely home sometimes. And this thing has been like a godsend. Like, I play in between trips while I'm waiting for Uber rides. So that occupies my time. So I'm not always trying to be like, oh, I wish I was home. So that's working for me right now. And when I get home, I plug it in and I start playing Power World on this, and it runs Power World in full settings, very good. So just curious. Let me know what y'all think. And let's see. What else do we have? What else? All right. So with the war, the what I call the 5G Cold War, um, T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, another another company has done some comparison tests, and I'm curious to see what y'all might think of it. All right, so here we are. This is from Phone Arena. T-Mobile versus Verizon versus AT&T. Latest network comparisons go beyond speed to crown a potential king. So, with that being said, I am very impartial. I'm very partial towards T-Mobile. I like the underdog. That's just me. But you still have to look at all the telltale signs, see if there's improvement across the board. You want to be able to, objectively come up with your opinions. And for the most part, I feel that T-Mobile's doing better. Since the merger, they've made a lot of improvements. The problem is the improvements are not everywhere, and I can account for that. I mean, different places. I'm in a pretty much a T-Mobile stronghold where I live at, but I'm from North Carolina, which if you look at my speed test videos, it shows me going back and forth home a lot. So driving up and down 95 is a thing that I do, and I'm trying to branch out other places. Which my next trip that I'm planning on going to do some network testing is Charlestown, West Virginia. So it's about 2 hours away from DC, and I want to see what the networks look like out there in no man's land. But it's going to be curious. I'm curious to see what the networks are going to be looking like. But right now, this article is based off of Open Signal's data collection, and so Open Signal is another third party company that drives around and tests out networks and comes back with a comparison of what people might feel, think, do about these networks. And for the most part, they come up with some very interesting findings here, and it's not so much as speed that we have to contend with now. It's probably one of the reasons why Verizon had to take a 180 turn in what they've been doing. No radio, what's up, sir?
What's happening?
What's going on? You called me at the cellular portion. I know you don't like cell phones. You always call on your rotary phone at home.
Watch yourself.
The click 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 click.
That's from that. That's closer to your generation, sir.
Hey man, it stayed around for quite a bit, but I I pulled this article up not because of speed testing, but because of speed network comparison, and maybe one of the reasons why we're starting to see Verizon not look so hot. So in this article here, it pulled it's from Open Signal, and let me see if I can pull. I'm gonna show you.
Oh, I've read the art.
Oh.
You know, I read fast. You know.
I know you do, sir. I know you do. Freaking speed readers. So in this article here, it shows that cost reigns supreme above everything else. At 21.4%, reliability was next. Network quality was behind that, coverage, and then customer service. 6.5% of people did not care whether or not did they have good upload or download speeds.
Yep. And we've been saying that.
Yeah, hey. I totally understand that a lot of people don't care, which is why when people ask me which network is better, I don't even mention speeds. I don't say it. People ask me about it, but the number one thing that I kind of always thought it was going to be was always going to be cost. And that's what I kept hearing from customers whenever I had the conversation about, cell networks was, well, Verizon costs too much, costs too much, costs too much. That's all. That was just on repeat. I mean, look, Verizon has the reliability. I don't think people cared about the reliability. They just cared about the cost.
Yeah, but reliability is a hard thing to quantify because reliability is different depending on the demographic you're talking to. For a
That's
person
true.
who never leaves their major city, reliability is not even an existing factor.
That's
For them.
true.
It's for those random people who want to drive in the desert or go hiking in the mountains. Those are the only people that get any tangible gain from any of that reliability crap. Let's just be
Right.
real about it. That's the reason
So,
why when people talk about cell coverage in the desert, I say I don't care. The reason I don't care is I have zero intentions of visiting the desert.
but here's the thing, Radio. If you take this, let's say that this right here, let's say Open Signals of observation is exactly what we've come to start seeing. Is it crazy to say the reason why T-Mobile is doing this partnership with SpaceX for the reliability side is crazy? If you already conquered the cost side, you want the reliability side, right?
You would think they would.
But I'm just saying, you know that you're not going to be able to outmatch Verizon and AT&T in coverage in a short period of time. So,
Well,
what can you do for right now that will give you coverage and reliability at the same time?
I'm not one of the ones that said it was crazy. I'm one of the ones that said I don't care.
Ah,
Remember?
well, I know that you say you don't care. I'm just saying,
Yeah. So,
hey, look, the
so
5G
what
Cold
that means is I
War,
don't have an opinion, right? Of course, these people have an opinion because once again, we know they want everybody to do everything the way anybody else does it.
right?
Now, with that being said, the fact that Verizon has coverage in the middle of the desert, but I can buffer video in a major city is hilarious to me.
It is hilarious.
So I'm in the camp of why ain't the network fix where people always are going to be, and you're worried about covering where people may not be most of the time. Now, with that being said, that's just me, obviously.
Right.
But that's another thing. Half of these people who talk about desert coverage and this crazy rural coverage don't even travel to those places themselves.
Look, a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't.
You're
But
like,
you know when people end up discovering whether or not the coverage is what they expect is when they go see grandma.
Yeah,
When
but
they
most
when
of
they when they
grandma's
drive on it,
houses
they
are
hop on the
covered
road and they
already.
go
The
see grandma.
grandma's Look, you can just look at the U.S. population density and find that the grandma don't live in the desert. So once
She lives
again,
in
brother,
she lives in a mud hut.
grandma might live in a rural town, but she don't live in the desert.
But
So
here's
I
the
don't
thing.
care if they want to use satellite there. I think it's perfectly fine because I don't think you need a great network in the middle of the desert, personally. But that's
Well,
just me.
look. I don't think that you need to be worried about, loading your OnlyFans while you sitting around trying to look for water in the desert. I'm not saying that.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Look. What I'm saying is in this, this 5G battle Cold War that we're dealing with, it's trying to understand what is the network's reasonings behind their decisions. Like
Well, it
with
was
us
clearly
watching,
it was
like,
it's well, Keon, it's obviously money. It's not
well, of
time.
course it's
You
money.
keep talking about time, but it's not a time thing. You're saying they're putting this in way so they have time. Time is irrelevant. They're either going to build a native network or they ain't. It ain't about time. It's about are they going to spend the money. That simple. When
Yeah.
the more money you put in something, time gets shorter and shorter.
Well, look, it was kind of like the what is it? The article I posted. I was thinking about doing it, but then I was like, nah, because it's more along the lines of what I call in the weeds. It was the one about T-Mobile getting into fiber, right? But the article tiptoed around the idea that T-Mobile was trying to do fiber to the home. It was making correlating ideas like, hey, Lumos does X, Y, and Z to the home, so T-Mobile might be thinking about doing the same. It didn't say that's what T-Mobile was doing. You see what I'm saying? But we all know that T-Mobile's going to have to get serious about fiber. That was always the end game.
Yeah, but this is once again though, this is just them becoming a reseller of existing fiber, and then in turn they're gonna do a little bit of help with the building of more residential fiber. This has nothing to do with backhaul.
Right.
You know why it has nothing to do with backhaul? Because the
Wow.
backhaul already exists in all those places via Lumos. T-Mobile's going to have their backhaul bill regardless if they get into selling the home internet through Lumos. So to
well,
me, it's
because
irrelevant. It's a non-story.
because the conversation I end up having with Tech Life on Twitter /X /Twitter X, whatever you want to call it. I was telling him like he's like, oh man, his sources told him that T-Mobile was getting into the home internet, and I was
That's what
like,
it is.
it, but
That's,
they're
that's what
getting into the
Lumos
home,
is.
but you're getting into the home internet through a partnership with Lumos, but you're not spending $1 billion for home internet. You're not doing $1 billion annually per year for home internet though.
But it costs that much to build home internet alone.
It costs money to build home internet, yes.
What I'm getting at is that the backhaul network already exists. There's no more backhaul to build for Lumos. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So everything is just
They
building to the
you
prim.
you have seen their remember Spirit Communications / Segra. That is the entire daggum East Coast
Yeah,
backhaul network for days.
yeah,
Even in little towns like where you're from, they run right through there
yes, they
already.
do.
So they can already give T-Mobile backhaul technically. So the only new product is the home internet expanding. You got to realize Lumos was basically non-existent in home internet previous to 3 years ago. They bought a
Really?
home internet company and then began to expand home internet. That's their main business.
Hey, Lumos and Lumen are not the same company, are they?
No, not the same company.
Okay.
No, Lumos is
Although
actually a new
all those
brand.
spinoffs, all those spinoffs, man, you get spun around, sir.
Yeah, so basically, there's a company called North State Communications who has always done home telephone, and they began building fiber about 10 years ago, right next to AT&T, basically.
Yeah.
And then they ended up getting bought out along with another company called Segra. Segra was a rebranding of Spirit Communications, who has always done backhaul and has backhaul up and down the entire East Coast. They're
Right.
using some of that existing fiber in order to expand the home internet product. If you have a head in over here, and you want to get a residential neighborhood over there, well, it's really good if you got a backhaul network to get you there, so you don't have to zero build.
That's
So
true.
that's why these companies partnered with each other. The backhaul network is already complete.
Mm.
Any additions to it would be minor. Now, with that said, this company already can do 10 gig services. They only offer up to 5 gig to residential, but they do 10 gig circuits, which means, say T-Mobile wanted to do millimeter wave
Guess what they can do?
in a major city.
Yeah.
Well, they could technically pull that off with a company like Lumos.
Now, are
Yes,
they? Is Lumos only? They're not only dedicated to East Coast.
that's no yes, really, for the most part, yes.
Oh,
Yes. You can look up their footprint yourself. They're mostly East Coast. North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, parts of Tennessee, down into Atlanta. But as far as the backhaul network, it goes all the way from like New York to Florida.
okay. Well, that you know what that explains like why I'm like the crazy build out here on the East Coast compared to like when we talk to people in our friend group, they said that T-Mobile's garbage. Well, that explains a lot because if all your assets is in one place, of course East Coast is gonna look better than Midwest and West Coast.
But that only applies to one of their backhaul providers. They
That's
don't
true.
only use that company. They use whoever's there with the best price. Let's just be real.
Yeah,
Whoever's where they need it at the best price is who they will use.
I know that they have a deal with Lumen.
Yeah,
They did a 10-year deal with Lumen too.
yeah, exactly. They have to though. That's just the way it is. I don't think that them getting in bed with Lumos has anything to do with them getting their own fiber for backhaul. I don't think it has anything to do with it. It is only for the resale because the brand Lumos is a new brand that has no following, has no reputation. So if T-Mobile can make additional sales and bundle with their wireless services, sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I look at it.
That's true. Hey, look, what I'm looking at, like, was me looking at this open signal pie chart. It makes sense why Verizon made a 180 turn. They were for a while there. It was like, oh, our services are great, our services is wonderful, and then all of a sudden they were like, yeah, people are leaving. Here, do you want an Xbox? Do you
And
want us
price
to
is
buy you a
the
new
only
house,
thing they
car?
had to do.
Hey, which, like I said, the pie chart is showing what people like, what direction people are heading in, and what what decisions are they end up trying to make.
Because let's be real, right? It's like I try to always tell us that we have to separate ourselves as tech geeks from the regular
Yeah,
people. The regular people could care less about your expert technical advice about what network is the best. And the main reason why is because for them, if the price difference is not tangible in experience, it's irrelevant. The fact
that's
that
true.
Verizon may have better calling, unless that person starts like dropping calls every single day on T-Mobile, it's irrelevant that Verizon has 5% more better calling. It's irrelevant when the
Yeah,
pricing doesn't match. And that goes for all of them. If whatever you're selling doesn't provide a tangible improvement to the regular consumer, it ain't really the best to that consumer.
yeah.
If
I
I
mean,
if
hey,
I
look,
can
I remember having that conversation with this lady because she genuinely was trying to understand it when she was asking about millimeter wave, and she was like, "Well, what is this millimeter wave?" And it's hard to explain to someone like, oh, well, this is this signal that you get when you're closer towards certain parts of the city. And she goes, well, I don't see it. But where I picked her up from and where she was going to was more rural part of DC, and there was no millimeter wave around. She said she saw it pop up when she went towards the metro. So yeah, one of the downtown's metro stations had it, but it was only for a brief moment. So in her mind, she was like, "Well, this ultra wideband is basically useless.
Exactly.
So I mean, to her, she was like, I could care less.
People don't subscribe to their cellular plans based on the potential of the network. They subscribe to it based on today.
That's
What
true.
is the
I mean,
price
hey, I left.
today? Does it work at my house? Yes. Does it work at my job? Yes. Does it work at my mom's house? Yes. Does it work at the grocery store that I go shopping in? No, well, can't do that one. Every time I go in a grocery store, everybody tell me that they couldn't get me on the phone, or I'm video calling trying to figure out which box of cereal to grab, and the call drops in the grocery store. It doesn't matter that it gets 4,000 down in the parking lot when you can't do a phone call inside the grocery store.
Right.
And that's
Look,
one.
I left Sprint. I left Sprint before the merger because as an Uber driver, man, I gotta have connectability regardless of where I'm at. And and I was in the city. Like honestly, I did all my Uber in the city, and I would like at the time, my Sprint phone would drop from like just basic 3G, barely 4G service down to EVDO or EVDO 1. And I'm like, yo, I'm barely getting any data here, and I could be missing trips and stuff and whatnot. I had to let it go. I was like, look, I was gonna wait for the merger to see what happens, and at the time there was nothing concrete yet, and I was like, screw this, I can't wait around no more. And come to find out, T-Mobile was better in DC than Sprint was.
Yep.
And I made that decision based off of what I needed to do right now.
Wasn't it?
Huh?
That Bantu was kicking butt.
Oh, it was destroying things, man. The destruction on a level I never saw.
That's how I ended up on T-Mobile, dude. I was first thing that happened was I lost my discount from a previous employer, and I didn't want to pay that bill. So the first motivator was finance, just like this chart suggests.
Cost.
The first motivator was cost, and then once I got over there, the motivation to stay was, wow, this is freaking fast.
Yeah.
I was getting 7 to 10 megs sometimes on AT&T at those days, and I'm over here jumping to this nobody company getting 100 down. I'm like, what in the world?
No, hey, it happened to me too. My path was a lot different, so I didn't jump directly over to T-Mobile right away. I had Project Google Fi.
Oh, yeah.
And in Google Fi, I don't know if you knew, but in Google Fi, it used Sprint and T-Mobile, but you could force it to be on one of the other networks.
And you got the side by side it for real.
Yeah. So I mean, in the app, I wanted to see how well it does because I didn't know anything. I didn't know how the network was truly. I just thought that Sprint was just working on the cell towers, and that's the reason why I was getting crappy service. But come to find out, the phone preferred T-Mobile's network. I would switch it over to Sprint and then drive around, pick customers up, come back an hour, 2 hours later, and come to find out it switched back. It was like, we don't like that network.
Yeah, because you were probably riding 5 megahertz all the time.
Yeah, probably. But that's what I'm saying. That's what made me went on ahead and switch over to T-Mobile was Project Fi showed me that T-Mobile's network was more ubiquitous in DC. I thought it was like, it's that barely working network. Like a lot of people thought, like people tell me they had T-Mobile, like, oh, you can't even make phone calls. Funny that I find myself.
And the problem is people are still saying that today, and I just didn't have that experience.
Hey, I didn't know. I mean,
I had to be asking for trouble to get problems. Even in 2018, I had to literally go to bum F Egypt and ask for problems. But I realized most people didn't travel the way I do, so it was irrelevant to them.
Right.
Most people aren't driving 300 plus miles a day at work.
Right.
And running into random rural area scenarios. Because that's when you're going to find out that none of these networks are really any more reliable, especially now. I cannot say that Verizon is more reliable right now. I can't. And everybody keeps making an argument. I get it. Yeah, the desert. So what? I don't care about the desert.
You know what? It's all about that last frontier, man.
Look at a population map and see where all the people actually live in this country, and that's how you need to judge what's the best network. And if you got service in the desert, but it clanks out where people actually live, you're hustling backwards.
Yeah, true. That's
You
true.
hustling backwards. You got cities that you can't, that with suburban neighborhoods you can't make phone calls in or pull a YouTube video up, but you got service in the desert. It's a little backwards.
Hey man, I told you when you scrambling around for looking for water, OnlyFans is your friend.
But the reason why that happened, we know why it happened. It happened because Verizon was built on Band 13. So all those neighborhoods I'm referring to,
Yeah.
those neighborhoods are 4 times the size they were when Verizon was building LTE. And now, even though Band 13 covers them, there's no bandwidth on Band 13 for them.
Oh no, because they're crowded.
So now, and once you hit those neighborhoods that were perfectly fine before, it's not a coverage issue. It's the band that reaches there does not have capacity to feed it. And
Yeah.
sticking a millimeter wave node up covers a section of the neighborhood, but they don't cover the next section. So unless you put it on every corner, every 1,000 foot, it ain't really helping. Small cell would have been better in that scenario.
You know what?
They stuck up millimeter wave when they could have done a full small cell right there, and it would have been better.
But you know what? I this is something I try to have the bigger conversation around. Was I think that Verizon was doing more preemptive building than they were strategic building. It was like, hey, why worry about macros when they're going to get overloaded anyway? We might as well just go ahead and just go all in on small cells, which is why when I went back to Greenville, there's small cells everywhere. But now, because you need more capacity on air, those small cells are getting overloaded.
Yeah, but the thing
Because
is,
there's more people in small areas.
But the small cells you're referring to didn't even get all the bands.
Yeah, they didn't.
That's what I'm saying. That's the problem.
But
you
that's
put
what
a
I'm
small
saying.
cell up, and then you put your band 2 holdings only on it. And here, where I'm at, the band 2 holdings is 5 megahertz.
Hey, I mean,
that
they
was
do
okay
have
when there was
66.
200 houses in that neighborhood. Now there's 500 houses, and they're all using more data. That 5 megahertz ain't cutting it.
But that comes down to I feel like that's also come back around to how cocky your company is too. It's, well, just do this and we'll be all right. And I think that it's a culmination of different like little things, right? So you're overconfident knowing that, hey, no, the competition's not out here, so we can just do whatever we want.
Yeah.
And then now when you go, hey, well, we have the more reliable network, but you can't do nothing on your network. Like I want to do TikTok. And TikTok buffers. I don't like that. Go away. Well, what about making a phone call? Who makes phone calls?
That's what I'm saying. Anybody measuring by phone calls in 2024, I question your motive on that one.
Come on. Look,
I'm not saying people don't make phone calls. What I'm saying is that is literally the lightest weight thing done on the network.
Oh, beyond like
what is it?
It's 13. It's 13 kilobits. It's 13 kilobits per second. I mean that's super light compared to what people are doing with the network today. But that's how I perceived it is Verizon just jumped past Go and went straight for the $200. They were like, "Yo, we're gonna have congestion problems. Go ahead and put the small cells up, band 13 and 2, and we'll get them back around to it one day." That gives people abilities to make phone calls, but that's all you're gonna do. That's all you're gonna be able to do.
Yeah, you just described how freaking what is it? Bermuda Run. Bermuda Run is what they do. They didn't even put band 13. It's band 2 only small cell.
Oh,
now thank God they finally upgraded the tower inside of the golf course. So at least it takes the load from the downtown area on those band 2 sites.
But that happened like 10 years apart.
Hey, I saw the same thing when I went to Philadelphia. Is like T-Mobile has no small cells in that city, and whatever. Well, the small cells that I did not recognize until now. They put small cells in, but their small cell situation is way different. It's almost like they put the full panel and just aimed it down every street. That's what they did. They pretty much just aimed, full on cell panels down the street. They're like, we're gonna get coverage one way or the other.
They took the Universal Hollywood Studios approach. Full size cameras on a 10-foot building.
Yep. They just aimed it down the street. Was like, that's covered. Good. Let's move on. But T-Mobile. When I was in Philadelphia, I saw the difference. Whenever 5G dropped for me, and I was dropped back to LTE, the network just dived. Like, it just nosedived. It was like night and day difference. I mean, millimeter wave was there. Don't get me wrong, millimeter wave was there. N77 was there. But the thing is when your phone don't pick it up, you're back on LTE, which a lot of people are on, and you felt the hurt. Which is why, I would listen to everybody talk about how great Verizon is, and I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know. And hey, look, self plug. If you're not sure, if you think what I'm saying is true, I recorded it. It's on my channel underneath the Philadelphia side. It has Philadelphia as the beginning mantra of every video. You can go through. I even went to the Rocky Steps, aka the Museum of Science and Technology in Philadelphia. Which those steps don't really look like those steps. You ever notice movies get things wrong? But let's see. I got this next story. No radio's on mute. Wait for him to come back. Let's see.
I'm here. I just got a lot of background noise.
Oh, no problem. But I'm just saying, movies get things weirdly wrong. I went on those steps. I watched Rocky. I don't remember that it looking like that. But let's see. No radio. What if I told you that Qualcomm says that? Here, let me pull it up. Says most Windows games will work on its latest ARM laptop chipset.
Maybe you want to see it.
You see, I believe it when you see it.
And that don't justify the crazy pricing from Samsung. But cool.
Oh man. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, and this is something I've been speculating on. The first part of the speculation is, I got this article and another one talking about Qualcomm, right? And as I was reading this, and I've talked to you and Austin about how ARM does everything, but I feel like Qualcomm is taking a different approach. And their approach, the reason why I say I feel like they're taking a different approach is, with ARM, you put everything on the chip, right? You put your memory on, you put your CPU in, you put your GPU in, and it's all using unified memory. Did I get that correct?
Essentially.
Well, I feel that Qualcomm is going to do something totally different, which is I don't think they're putting the memory on the chip.
That'll be a mistake.
Maybe, but
I'm starting
to
be. Ain't no
from
maybe
from the
about
articles I've been reading and their approach, like from what I think their approach is going to be. I think they're putting probably the memory controller on the chip, but access to the memory is going to be off board.
The memory controllers have been on the chip for over 20-something years in all processors, sir.
True.
That's not a special thing. That's not an ARM thing. Even Windows, the memory control. We don't have front side buses anymore, sir.
I know. I remember them days.
Front side bus.
Yeah.
But
the reason why I say this is not only just because Qualcomm says that Windows games will work on their new chipset, right? And I feel the same way about you. Apple had to put a translation layer on just to make the x86 stuff work on their ARM chip, and Qualcomm is saying, "Oh, it's just going to work out of the box." I don't know. But PC Mag was invited to a Qualcomm event, and this is probably
I want you to
recent.
point out this was old.
What?
This is old.
That was an old article?
Yep. Even if you read it, you see they're talking about something that happened months ago, like three,
Yeah,
4 months
this
ago.
was updated
This is
March
really
22nd.
Yeah, but this happened months ago. Like this actual event, they didn't just go like in the last month and do this. This was
Yeah,
months ago.
yeah. So hold on. Is this? Yeah, I see the article now. First test, the Snapdragon Elite Orion chip is ready to be the star in 2024 laptops. Let me pull this up. Yeah, this is an older article here in October.
Now, see, I didn't even see it, but I just tell by reading it the way they spoke. This
When
is
they say
older.
2024,
Yeah, they were talking about 2024 like it was so far away.
right?
Yeah,
But
and I
you know what?
realized like, wait a minute, this timing sounds old.
But here's the thing: the way that they described how Qualcomm set it up, and they couldn't touch the laptops. But then their comparison. Does this article have the comparison? Let's see. All right. So this is one of the reasons why I think that there's going to be they're going to have the memory offloaded off of the chip, and it's not going to be part of it. Is part of it is that what is it? The device TDP power being 80 watts max for probably the faster one, and 23 watts for the slower one. Now, I know you're going to first think, well, what does the power difference have to do with anything?
Who thinks that?
The reason why I suspect why they're showing two different types is because they're not planning on making multiple different chips.
That's
So if you were
there's already multiple chips. That is multiple chips, sir. That's what they meant by config A and config B. That's more than
right,
one chip.
but here's the
One is
thing: if
made
you
it even says
but
one is made to run in a thicker, heavier device. The other one's made for portability.
right,
Both being laptops, two configurations.
two configurations,
And when
but
you
here's the
read it,
thing: if you
and wait a minute,
but
when
no,
you read it, it even says the vendors will have the ability to create their own configurations of TDP.
yes,
So they'll literally be able to submit to Qualcomm and say, hey, I want it to run at this many watts, at this gigahertz or whatever. So that means
right.
we're going to get even more implementations.
But
Because
here's the thing:
remember, they're not
but
just
I
going
don't
to tune
think
it
that,
themselves. They're literally going to submit to have the chip set that way.
but I don't think that it's going to be that many memory variants.
But
Like,
you wouldn't need memory variants because memory is on, and when you get to ARM, 16 gigs is more than you probably need for the next 10 years in the ARM environment.
now here's the thing: on this comparison, they showed, what was it? Was it this one? Yeah, they were showing a 64 gig um comparison against the M2, the Ryzen graphics, and Intel XE graphics cards, graphics on a laptop. So they were showing more RAM than their competitors were at 16 gigs.
Understood. But I bet that didn't really matter.
Probably not, but I'm just saying that here you have your one. Why didn't you have a 16 gig variant? Because that would be more closer to apples to apples than apples to kumquats. Like if you wanted to really show off what you can do, why not put it closer towards what you're trying to compare it against. But then on top of that, they didn't let anybody touch them too. So,
Mm-hmm.
which
More.
that's kind of a scary thing also. Oh, let's see. So that's the reason. That's one of the reasons why I was saying what I was saying about that. I don't think that they're going to make multiple SKUs of this chipset. I think that you can probably end up doing what Apple did, which is basically you put a fan on it, you get better thermals. You don't put a fan on it, it thermal throttles. But it's the same chip. But
Yeah,
let's
but that's
see.
the same thing Intel does, sir. They make the same chip and then they limit it with configuration. You know that,
True.
right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference? There is no difference. It's the same thing.
But the whole
No,
idea of being able to put the RAM on the chip also would lead to you to believe that there would be multiple different SKUs of this chip with like different RAMs, like 16 gigs and 32 and
there are no
64.
this chip. There's not even a single SKU. Not yet.
They're not yet.
Remember,
True.
remember, even Qualcomm is saying they're going to allow every vendor to customize, basically creating their own SKUs. You see?
I see.
That's the whole point. So a vendor will be able to say, hey, I want a variant. I want a variant that has this many cores or whatever, and only clocked up to this. And then they'll order it and have it printed out, and they'll have them print out 1 million of that variant. That'll be their own custom clocked version. It's no different than what the cell phone makers already do. Think about it. They all say, hey, I'm gonna build a CPU. This one's based on ARM, Core, X, whatever. And then they still pick all their own clock speeds and everything, and that becomes their own variant.
But hey, how much difference do you think is between like the Snapdragon Gen 8 no, I'm sorry, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 that's inside of like the OnePlus versus the special one that Samsung is up getting that specially says for Samsung? How much difference do you think is between those?
Quite a bit.
Hmm.
Now, it's actually gotten less complicated in recent years. More of them are just using the same chips now.
Right.
But in the past, it was very, very fragmented.
Oh no! Look, I believe me. I mean, that's the reason why you got the top end and you got the mid tier and you got the lead budget phones. Also, they're all red. They're all doing Snapdragon, but that's what I'm saying is, I think that Snapdragon and Qualcomm basically is not. I don't think they're gonna make different like major different variants.
No, but
It's
what I'm
gonna be
saying
up
is
to the
this, right?
OEM to kind of
This is the reason. This is the reason why they will. Remember, we already know that the RAM and the cache are more expensive than the rest of the processor.
right.
So with that said, they're probably gonna just start. They're probably gonna come straight out the hole and do a 18, 16, and 32 variant and a 64 variant, and just keep it simple like that. And that actually is simple. Having 4 variants of RAM level is pretty simple, just like we do with cell phones.
Yeah.
What do they do with our cell phones? They come out with a 128, 256, and it's all integrated on the board.
Right.
And they just integrate that on the board, and they make a set amount of variants, and they just print those out at high speed. That's not complicated. You're making it sound like it's this big hard thing to change how much RAM is on an integrated CPU. It's not. It's not that hard.
Well, I mean, I looked at it from like when you said that, hey, look, what is the most cost prohibitive way of getting this done?
Well,
And
from a
I saw
performance. You're
basically,
saying for performance,
yeah,
it's cash. Cash costs the most. Cash, most expensive
cash
thing.
costs the most than RAM.
Yep.
Hey, I mean, the thing is I would like to see, pardon the pun, an apples to apples comparison. I would love to see that. The M2, the M3, with 16 gigs of RAM compared to 16 gigs of RAM of the Snapdragon X Elite. I would love to see that.
But here's the real thing, though, right? The only case where there is anything called is apples to apples is the price, not how much RAM.
Right.
So to the consumer, if they both cost the same, who cares if one has more RAM?
It's going to come down to the performance.
It's going to come down to performance regardless of the RAM. That's what I mean. Just being real. It's going to come down to the performance regardless of the RAM. Now, in my hopes and dreams, I would hope that this system would have dedicated a portion of that RAM to be dedicated to GPU. If they claim that games just work, did they say what games?
No.
That's
they didn't say which games.
See, that's why I say I don't. You get excited when you read this stuff, right? And I'm
like,
wait a minute, what game?
Skeptical. Hey, look, why you think I pulled it up here? I was skeptical.
You go in there and find out it's Minesweeper.
What is it? The Worm. Oh, the Worm works. Pinball works. I know you remember pinball, dog.
Yep. So I just asked what games. They didn't say.
No, they did not.
So they try to play these games, this word salad stuff,
But that's that's the reason why I put it up here because I was skeptical. It wasn't because I was excited about it. It was because you make a claim and that sounds nice. But remember, who came before you had a translation layer on running on their OS.
But here's the thing, though. They say that, right?
Yeah.
But are they saying that there's not a translation layer?
I'm thinking they're saying that there's not. I don't think it just said
has
it's
to
going
be
to work.
Because how does an x86 thing run in ARM without a translation layer?
Unless
I think what they really
Windows
mean
itself is translating it.
They may be saying that it already exists, not saying that they don't need. They're basically saying we don't need to make one. See, it's word salad, bro. It's all word salad. I don't trust the word salad stuff, man.
Here, let me pull it back up.
Obviously, there has to be some form of emulation happening here for it to just run x86 code as if it were native.
Which means that Windows is probably already going to end up doing it for you.
Or I'm saying Windows has already done it. That's what I'm getting at.
Right.
They've already done it. They're just not calling it what it is. See, it's that word salad.
It's sought to assure game developers their titles by what
they're saying is that the game developers won't have to rewrite their code.
Right.
But they're not saying there ain't something already happening in the background. See? Now, with that said, should the game developers rewrite their code? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. You always want it to work optimal.
Optimization. Exactly.
You want to always be optimal. You don't want to be like
native. Yeah.
But see, you know what? Here's the thing. One of the reasons why they said that everything's going through the GPU, which is true. You don't see a lot of games utilizing CPU. They all going clamoring after the GPU. So if you got a GPU heavy game, and that's probably the only bottleneck you got to really worry about is the GPU powerful enough to run.
Yeah, I mean, if they just dedicate, I'm gonna say probably 6 gigs of RAM to the GPU side of the game, they're probably okay with most major titles.
Right. So it says right here, emulation doesn't impact GPU performance. So that means that that's probably going to be emulated. It's probably going to be emulated all through Windows itself.
Mm-hmm.
And Windows is going to be the emulator. Basically, Windows is the emulator. And when you play it, it's like it just says here, emulators don't impact GPU performance as such as CPU cost.
And it's basically even telling you that it's emulation. See, they start the title with they won't need all this, but then they basically just describe you that there's emulation going on. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Hey,
there you go.
See? Hey, I told you when I read this, it was
word salad.
Word salad.
Well, even it says right here, it says Qualcomm engineers have told the audience that computers will use emulation to run many x86 and 64 games at nearly full speed without the need to tweak. So all they're telling, so all this article is really saying is the title of this article, if it was honest, the title would have been "Game Developers Don't Need to Rewrite Their Code for ARM." That's it. Not we won't need him. What's the title? It
Qualcomm
says
says
we'll
most
just
Windows
work.
games will work on its latest ARM
Yeah.
laptop chipset
So they did a roundabout way of saying the same thing, that basically developers don't have to rewrite their code. That's all they're saying.
with minimal issues.
Yeah.
So it's
So we're headed for the middle of the year. Are they really going to wait till June? Like straight
they
up?
shouldn't. They really shouldn't.
Because my patience is wearing thin. I've got the money put aside. My patience is wearing thin.
Oh Lord. Hey, you know what? You're gonna have look. You obviously are gonna be my guinea pig test, because if you have raving reviews about it, I know I'm gonna end up buying it. Because understand, I have a tendency to try everything. That's my problem.
But day one, I'm putting Cyberpunk on it and just bitch slapping it.
Oh man, you gotta get something with a little bit more heft. Cyberpunk.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Hey, here you go. Here you go.
Cyberpunk at
On your
4K,
gaming
sir.
laptop right now, is Cyberpunk slowing it down?
4K, it has to work. It has to work. It ain't just jogging.
When we say working, is the
The fans are
GPU?
running. The
Is
fans
the
are
G?
running, buddy. The fans, the
What's it?
GPU is walking.
Did you look to see what the temperature was on your
The
GPU?
GPU is getting hot, sir. As
Uh
would
huh.
any GPU running 4K games right now. If it can't launch, if it can't run Cyberpunk in 4K,
It's not
not
worth
a
it.
worthy upgrade. Yep. If it gets
Oh,
hot and has to exit out or something, which in theory that shouldn't be happening, because even if you buy that's another thing too. Do you have to buy that? Do you have to be running at the 83 watts to get the performance they're claiming?
maybe.
Now, according to some of the
I figured
benchmarks,
out you're gonna
it
be able
ain't
to do
that
it at
much different.
23 watts.
The benchmarks don't show that much a jump in performance to the 83 watts.
What was it? The
Yeah,
previous
the
articles
article
that
you
we
had,
pulled up,
the
not that one,
performance.
but the previous ones that I pulled up when we were talking about it a couple months ago, when they were saying like when they pushed it to 80 watts because the M3 maxes out at 45, and they saw that with the same configuration, just pumping more power through it gave them the same, if not a little bit more on par with the M3.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about the M3 because it can't run Cyberpunk either.
Ooh, wait,
For
what?
other what? I mean, you show me a MacBook running Cyberpunk right now. Show me. You won't
Oh,
find it.
I thought
I
they,
haven't heard anything about it.
I thought
No,
that
it's because of the
I thought
translation. It's because of a
Apple.
translation issue. It's a translation issue.
Oh,
Yeah, see, it ain't just raw performance. That's why I say you can't even use the M3 or any of them as a measuring stick. Remember, we don't care about
yeah.
potential. We care about what is. Potential is
What
irrelevant right
is?
now. I haven't seen anybody running Cyberpunk on a MacBook.
No, I haven't seen anybody do it either.
If I can't run it at 4, and remember, my benchmark is 4K. That's my benchmark.
Yeah.
That's my measuring stick. I don't
I'm,
care what it can do at 720 or 1080. I literally can hook up my Lenovo Legion to my 4K TV and sit on my couch and enjoy
uh,
Cyberpunk in 4K. And my Lenovo Legion ain't even a new computer. I'm still running a 20 series GPU. So
ooh, ooh.
not in the 30 or 40 series GPU. I'm running 4K on a lower, even so. All I'm saying is, like, if it can't do that, it's irrelevant to me.
I understand that.
Launching the
I,
game and like running demo screens ain't the same thing as actually sitting down and playing for 4 hours.
Now, when everything's heat soaked and running hot, and you got some thermal throttling going on, that's a totally different monster.
Yeah, I'm pulling up a video now. Somebody running it on there. Let me do some recon.
Oh, hey, if you got the video, go ahead and put it into the chat, and I'll play it for everybody to see. While you're doing that, I mean, let's see. My last couple articles are
Okay.
about Apple, sir.
So the only video I found so far, they're basically running it at like 1080, and obviously the reason why is because they're using the MacBook screen, which is not 4K.
Ooh. But hey,
Ooh.
you could plug that up to a 4K monitor
But they
or a
didn't.
TV.
But they didn't.
Mm,
That doesn't help me. Don't get me wrong, there's potential there, but like I said, that's the real test. Run that thing at 4K and see how it does. That's the benchmark I'm looking for. Because remember, for me, I want a laptop that gets like 20 hours of battery life that can also run everything I can install on it.
right.
My current laptop can run everything I can install on it. I ain't getting 20 hours. I'll be lucky if I get three and a
You mean
half.
20 minutes?
No, I don't get 20 minutes, but about 3.5. And that's if I'm just running like at 1080. If I pump that thing up to 4K and run it on battery, oh God, hour.
You said what battery?
Yeah, and it's got what size is the battery in that damn thing?
It can't be that big.
It's like 54 watt hours or something,
Right.
which is bigger than most laptops.
Yeah, but it's burning through it too.
Yeah, because the GPU alone is pulling 180 to 200 watts in the mobile version.
Yeah.
That's the reason why the power
Man,
brick is 230 watts for that laptop.
you said you have to carry around an extra long extension cord.
The power brick is literally the size of a Nintendo Switch, and it's the size of 3 Nintendo Switches on each other, maybe 2 Nintendo Switches stacked on each other with the Joy-Cons.
Oh man. Yo, hey,
That's the
look.
world we live in today.
Speaking of Nintendo Switches, hey, look. Remember last week I told you said that you can't go off feeling, you got to go off tangible. Remember, my first article was talking about handhelds, and I wasn't losing my mind here. Handhelds is making a rise.
I didn't say that. You said, see, you always try to change the bar, sir. I said handhelds are not taking over. I didn't say people don't want them. I'm saying they're not replacing consoles. That was the argument we were having. You were of this mindset that people don't need consoles no more because handhelds are getting good. And I said that wasn't true. That was the argument. So don't change what the argument was about.
The argument. I remember what the argument was about.
I
I'm
said
just saying
consoles are
that.
going nowhere. That's what I said. You said you
Well,
thought
look.
they were because handhelds are getting good.
Well, look, with everything that we just started talking about, and then you add this to the fact that these are going to be mobile chips, like the basically laptop chips, because they're putting laptop chips inside of the Legion Go and the ROG Ally
Well,
and
obviously.
The Steam Deck.
Well, obviously, what other chip they're gonna put in it?
True. But now you substitute those. Let's say that we get a couple more years down the road, we finally get these, X Elite chips out, and then now you start thinking like, hey, you start sticking these in handhelds. Obviously they're going to be at lower wattage, but they can still run Steam. Now you got your whole Steam library on the go.
Yeah, but you can already do that today. You don't need the handheld to do that. You do it with your damn phone.
Actually, I haven't been able to do it.
Just because you ain't me.
Oh gosh.
What I'm saying is you're not gaining anything that we can't already do. That's
Look,
what I'm saying.
I tried. I downloaded Steam on because I have Steam on my phone, which is how I log into Steam on other devices. But
it's called Game Pass.
That's emulation. No, that's not running native.
It already lets you stream games. I just said lets you do. I don't care about running native. I said, can you do it? You see the argument? So how you move the bar?
Oh,
see what I'm saying? Don't move the bar. I said, if somebody wants to play a AAA game on the go, can they not already do it without buying an $800 handheld? The answer is yes. So what does buying an $800 handheld do for that person? Nothing.
Hey, look, I remember the golden bar that you set. Understand, was you and everybody else kept saying is, I want my game on my device. If you're streaming it to your
No, no,
device,
no,
that's
no,
not
no,
the
no, no, no,
same.
no. Remember, I don't care about mobile gaming. You do.
Of course, I do.
The reason I said that mobile gaming would not win is because it only works. I'm sorry. I said the game streaming couldn't win is because it's only based on the networks it has to be on. The argument
Right.
wasn't whether or not I want a gaming go device. I don't even want one. I could care less. I don't even want one.
What you telling me that you don't want to be at your job playing Cyberpunk?
I can
Come on,
already
man.
do it, Keon, using my iPhone and my freaking backbone already. So
Yo,
what
yo,
is your point? I can
but
already do it. I don't need to buy another device for that. You see what I'm
but
saying?
I know, no, I get what you're saying.
So for
I
the
totally get
casual
what you're
gamer,
saying.
right? So for the casual gamer, who is the majority of gamers, they're not going to buy $800 additional thing when they can already do it with the $1,000 phone in their pocket. For the
That's true.
casual times when they do want to game, right? So what happens? Because look, I even seen this happen as a child. When I was a child, everybody around me had Game Boy.
Yeah.
If all us grown men show up to a party right now, no one in their room is going to have a Game Boy on them.
No.
Even the guy who loves gaming ain't even going to have a Game Boy on him. If they were dying for mobile gaming that bad, why are even the hardcore gamers who are adults not walking around with handhelds?
Uh,
It's because they're too busy living their lives, fucking bitches and getting money to be playing video games when they're out at the club or when they're at the corner store and there's a hot girl in there. They not over there playing with no video game. They talking
you
to the
didn't
girl.
you didn't see the guy over in the corner playing with
It
the
look,
Game Boy in the club.
no, it's no different. It's no different. You know how people always say when you see people out somewhere, they're always taking 600 selfies and stuff. And then
Yeah.
what did grown men say about that? Dang, could you just enjoy the moment? Why you got to always bring the internet into the room? That's what I hear grown men saying.
Mm.
It's like, bro, we're actually here. Why are you worried about what people see on social media? We're here having a good time. And you want to keep pulling your damn camera out and putting us on the internet. That's what I hear grown men saying. Not,
Yeah.
oh man, we should be in our devices more. Our heads
That's
should be
what
in
I
our
hear. That's
phone.
what I hear old men say.
No, grown,
That's what the
grown,
old
grown.
men be
No,
saying.
that's grown men. Grown men are saying that, dog. Ain't got nothing to do with being old.
Oh look, I don't take a lot of pictures myself, so I've never been a
But,
super
but
picture taker.
what I'm
But
getting at is that the most people who are casual don't need to game that often, which is why they won't be purchasing these devices. But they will have that PlayStation 6 if it come out at the crib. So when they homeboy come over talking junk, they can get on some NBA 2K or get on some Madden. But once they leave the crib and they get to the club, ain't none of them think about playing no video game on the way to the club.
I understand that, man. Look, I'm not saying that they got to be playing video games at the club, but understand every scenario about trying to take your PlayStation with you, people have done. Have you not done that before?
I know you said done it, but what I'm saying is I didn't do it with $800 device for something I'm gonna do maybe twice a year. That's what I'm saying. Most casual gamers are not needing the game on every lunch break. Hardcore gamers are.
Hey, look, haven't we said that hardcore gamers is what moves the
No,
industry?
hardcore gamers move the industry, not the finance. They move the direction the industry goes, not the money spent in the industry. They,
Mm.
they're a minority. They're just like us with the networks, right? I just told you what
Yeah,
we'll look at when they go to network. First thing that they told you was price, not performance. So think about the regular customer, like the casual gamer, and then
yeah.
we're the hardcore side of the networking side. They're not. So yes, people will buy handhelds. No duh. The market will grow. No duh. But at the same time, it will not replace the non-handheld market. It won't even become 50% in size of the non-handheld market. The Game Boy was the last device that was able to be sold at mobile device to be sold at high numbers.
Oh, bro, I tried to fix the Game Boy I found, man. Somebody dropped it on the ground, and it had a crack in the screen. I did everything I could to try to put that thing back together.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, the Switch still hasn't even got anywhere near Game Boy numbers.
No, I don't think so. I don't.
And it's better than any mobile device we've ever had the game on. Let's be real.
Hey, look. I would say that Nintendo did a very, very good job with the idea of it, but the execution, like they didn't have nothing. They didn't have anything that made you. If you wasn't a Nintendo fanboy, you were not buying it.
Mike, see, you just proved my point. You had to be a fanboy.
You had to be a Nintendo fanboy to really want that thing. And understand.
Here's the deal, right? If they would have went harder on the thermal limits, what I'm getting is this, right? Why don't we have a Switch Extreme?
Oh, because then it was the Switch wouldn't have been $199. It'd be $599.
But remember, it's competing with. Think about it. It was supposed to be the home console that also can go. But what did it do to get there? It compromised on performance. Where is the Switch that didn't? Where's the one that didn't? Remember, they're at $299. They $5.99 out here in these streets. You gonna tell me that if Nintendo made one for $7.99 that actually performed the same and could go, it wouldn't sell? Dude, they could
I think it would sell.
$1,000.
But here's the thing. That was always Nintendo's issue with me, man. Their gaming portfolio was still geared around small time gaming. Like where people really want to do hardcore gaming with it, they couldn't. Or the developer didn't want to develop their game on a low tier hardware.
It's a waste of time because the market isn't there.
Which is why I'm telling you that hey, the ROG Ally and Lenovo Legion Go, they are the steroids.
When they sell, but I've played them and they don't perform good to me. That's my point. They're not replacing.
There's been some software updates.
Hey,
look. Hey, remember what you said. Remember what you had said. You know that the Lenovo Legion Go, because I could talk about this one because I own it. But that bad boy ramps up to like 65 watts. It pushes that the AMD's processor to 65 watts to handle pretty much almost anything you could throw at it.
Yeah, but remember the processor ain't weak. It's the GPU that's weak.
Right, but I'm saying all the CPU and GPUs all on one chip. Those are APUs.
But it's
they push.
So here's the thing, right? So in your perfect world, you're taking that thing home and plug it to your big TV already.
Yeah, I mean, I plug it into the TV. I take it on the go with me. I plug it into the car.
I get all that, right? Is it a replacement for a gaming computer?
No.
Then it ain't good enough for the casual gamer. That simple. When it can replace a gaming laptop, it will be good enough for the casual. Why? Because it will replace the laptop. Right now, it doesn't. It's just an additional device. That's what I'm saying.
You just set the bar insanely too high.
I didn't look. I'm telling you what would have to happen for it to really change the game. See, we can't keep getting these potential arguments. Potential don't sell units.
But here's the thing: if the low end being Nintendo Switch didn't push a lot of units,
I don't even think Nintendo Switch matters anymore in the argument. It's irrelevant to me because I played one for about 20 minutes a day and realized how behind that thing is. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. But
terrible.
They was using the same chip
exactly.
for years.
So why do you think that Lenovo and anybody else is going to be any different? You're going to be getting the same pure performance for the next 5 years on these freaking handhelds.
Wait. But here's the thing, though, Radio. Remember what you had just said a second ago? You just said it. You was like, hey, what about playing more hardcore games or the ability to play like a Cyberpunk?
What I said is add portability without compromise. That's all I said. Very simple.
I think that in general, portability is a compromise.
But remember, we're comparing it. Wait a minute. We're comparing it to an already portable device, i.e. a laptop. The laptop is the tier I want, right?
Look. Do you know
Not
what?
gaming, not gaming desktop.
Do you know what
That's-
we need to be able to do? We need to be able to take my a laptop like how my yoga is and slap controllers on the ends of it. That's what we need to do then. It gives you portability and power at the same time.
Why would you need the controls to be attached?
Because hey, that's the whole idea. Is I have this screen, I
Okay,
have controllers.
where you? Okay, give me the place where you're at. So okay, I guess you're gonna say what, the train?
The train, the DMV.
So on the train. Okay, wait a minute. On the train, it would need to be attached. How many major cities have trains?
Not many major cities have trains.
Okay, so how many
They got
people are you
buses.
covering?
They
If there's
got buses.
330 million people in America, how many gamers are in the major cities that have trains? How many hardcore gamers? Let's just say,
you know what?
let's
I
say
don't
10
know that
million.
information. You know that.
No. We're gonna just use the knowledge we have based on our education. I'm gonna say maybe there's 9 to 10 million hardcore gamers that are riding a train every day, and I'm being nice about that.
Okay,
Being very nice with that number. That's what percent of 330 million?
That's what it's barely scratching.
It ain't even 3. It's 3%.
Yeah.
Can you sell a console based on 3% of America? No,
you cannot.
So let's go to the next category. Where's the next place you're going to be
not even
gaming?
guarantee you'll get all 3%.
Exactly my point. So let's go to the next category. Where's the next place you're going to game? At a restaurant?
I mean, depends on the restaurant, but
would you though? Would you?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, so we can just eliminate restaurants from Edmund's list of places. What's the next place? In your car?
Well, in my car, yes.
All righty now. Now we have a game. Game, set, match. Can you not get a phone mounted to a Holy Lenovo Yoga size laptop?
Yes, you can.
And can you not pair an Xbox controller to any Windows computer without adapters now?
Yes, you can.
Voila. Mobile gaming in the car. Completed with a laptop. Didn't need to be handheld. Next, let's go to the next location.
Oh.
Let's say it was the restaurant. Well, guess what? That Lenovo, it's reversible. So you can just flip it over and use it as its own stand to sit on the table and then still play with the Xbox controller.
But the whole idea is I don't want to. Okay. If I'm
and
at the restaurant
screen.
and I don't want to put the
screen.
Hey, look, but I don't want to put the screen on the table where I'm about to eat it. Here you go.
Why,
do you want your child? Would you want your child to be putting?
I don't know where you eat, but do they just put the food on the raw table or they give you a plate? Don't they wipe the table off with some disinfectant wipe, spray and wipe, and then they put a plate there with the food on top of the plate?
Yeah.
And let's say, even if you did have a handheld gaming device, whenever the food arrived, would you not probably sit it down on the table that you just said you didn't want your laptop to touch?
That's true.
All I'm saying is, what you talk about, dog? Come on, bro.
Man, you be coming over. Look, for somebody who do a lot of don't like speculating.
No, I'm not speculating.
Speculations.
You just said yes, so that means I was correct.
Look, I try to be a normal gamer as much as I possibly can.
To me, it sounds like you're not a normal gamer, but you think you are, which is the reason why you speculate everybody needs a handheld gaming device.
I didn't say everybody. What I'm saying is this market. What I'm saying is the market is prime for picking right now, because what you had just said earlier, where if the Switch had a second gear and let you play, better games, they would have sold a lot more units.
Remember, I wasn't referring to playing better games mobilely. I was referring to when you put it in the docking station, sir. Not mobile. Too. So that's what I was referring to specifically. I don't need the Switch to do 4K 60 on the go, but I wanted to do that when I'm at the TV at the house.
Right.
So if I already have a device that can do that without me owning a Switch, it is irrelevant to go buy a Switch. Which is what happens.
Here you go. But I give you the scenario. When you are going to go see or visiting family members out of state, and you're going to be staying over for a couple days, and you're in the hotel,
going to be having fun because I'm not a hardcore gamer. Remember, we're talking about the casuals. That's what the numbers are. I'm gonna be too busy enjoying my family time. We probably gonna, if I'm with the older family, we're probably having dinner and we're gonna go to church on Sunday, and then on that weekend, me and the cousin are gonna go to the club. I don't need a gaming device for that.
Hey, are you saying that every moment is already accounted for?
Exactly. In my life, bro, I don't even get to breathe.
Oh man.
Bro, I'm working and moving and sticking and moving. And hell, I have to find time to watch my Country Wayne skits. I got like 20 skits left to watch that I lost because I went to a wedding this weekend. I'm 20 skits behind.
Oh man.
But think about this. I gotta have time to watch a movie with the kid, right? Help the kid do their homework. When I come home from work, right? Get in my Country Wayne skits, probably wash and fold some clothes. If there's a mess in the house, I gotta clean the house. When it comes right down to it, I end up with like 2 hours of time left. And none of that time is time for me to be out in the streets with a mobile gaming device. If I'm gonna play a game, I'm probably gonna sit on my couch and just play a video game on my TV. And when I'm out at work and I get the itch to game, guess what I can do? I can pull out my backbone and loop and remotely connect right to the PS5. Very easily. And it didn't require me to buy an additional device to do so. That's what I'm saying. People already have the ability to game mobilely without these devices. These devices are basically, you know what these devices are? They're for tech nerds who just want another toy because we can't stop spending our money on toys. That's what it comes down to.
Man, I feel like you slapped me in the face, man. I like my toys.
But I like my toys too, which is why I own freaking 2 laptops right now. I don't really have to have 2 laptops. I got my yoga as my mobile laptop that I'll take with me in my book bag, or as my uncle likes to call it, my Kanye West bag. Because he's been calling me Kanye West ever since I started walking around with a laptop in a book bag, which was when I was like 15. He's been calling me Kanye West ever since. Because I was sitting in a hospital when my grandmother was sick, making beats on my freaking Dell Latitude laptop.
The radio, you telling me you were team backpack before the team backpack became team backpack.
That's my uncle. He said, he used to call me, I like Kanye. He always called me Kanye because when Kanye was, in them days, Kanye always had that book bag on, that backpack with a polo shirt and a backpack, that leather backpack with the bear on it, with his laptop and hard drives. That was me. So back then, I needed to be able to produce mobilely because guess what? When you're a teenager, you don't really control where you go. You go wherever your parents say you go. So that means you got to go visit your auntie who's sick in the hospital and you end up sitting in the waiting room for 4 hours. You might make some beats. Or if you're a gamer, you might play a game. Well, guess what? I can already do that. I don't have a Lenovo Legion Go, and I can already play a game to fill time.
That's true.
I can play a mobile game on the phone, or I can remote into the PS5 and play my whole library.
Mm-hmm.
No, I feel you. So guess what? The day that the handheld takes over the game is the day it replaces said PS5. Is the day it replaces the low tier gaming laptop. That's the day that it runs that the game runs, and that's when everything will change. And yes, these new ARM chips may take us there.
But guess what? That's something I'm looking at.
So you know what's the problem?
What's that?
All of you guys who are early adopters, you're gonna get screwed.
You know what? As a person who does early adopting on things, I have already been screwed more than anything. And believe me when I tell you, I'm accustomed to it.
That's my point, though. You continue to do it. You don't learn. See, me, I'd have been like, let me wait for this thing to go a little further, and maybe one of them chips will end up in the handheld. But guess how much that we already said he's gonna try to rape us on the laptop. So how much you think the handheld gonna be with a damn Elite chip in it?
Oh God,
that handheld about to be $4,000, dog. No. You know what the casual gamers gonna say? They're gonna be like, nope, not me. Nope, not me.
But you know what? Here's the thing. As somebody like you just said, early adoption. The problem with early adoption is support. So like, when what was it? When Google came out with like the 7-inch tablet, it was the perfect form factor. Even Apple, I think, still puts out like an iPad mini even today, right? It was a perfect form factor for like putting inside your car. It wasn't too big, but it wasn't too small. It was just right?
Yeah,
But
we got
then what
phones that
happened
big now.
was, huh?
We got phones that big now, sir.
Right. But what I'm saying is for like 5, 6 years, I couldn't find anything that fit that little niche because nobody wanted to support it. Like Google stopped supporting their
So early
Nexus
adopters.
7.
Yeah.
And then Lenovo had came out with one, and then they stopped supporting it. Sony came out with one right in that 7 or 8 inch, and they stopped supporting it.
So this is
It
my
was
thing.
all.
Why do you think every company's ideals are great ideals?
I'm not saying it's always a great idea.
Well,
What
it
I'm saying
clearly
is
wasn't
for
because it
for
didn't
for
work.
for what I needed for it to do, all of a sudden it just you end up getting this thing called, oh well, we don't support it no more.
Yeah, but that's because these companies throw stuff at the wall. They ain't gonna tell you they throwing stuff at the wall. You just go and buy it like it's the hottest thing ever, and the
Hey,
thing
look,
ain't sticking, but you adopted it because you believed.
look,
You
man,
got to.
I had to have the Sony Android tablet imported because I liked it that much.
Yeah, but now you got a cell phone that's bigger, probably.
No, oh well, I don't have it no more because I've given it to my
What I'm saying is
cousins.
your
But
fold. I'm
at
saying
that
is your
time,
fold has a screen like that. So
yes.
my point exactly.
But here's the thing: early adopt. I waited to the second generation
Stop
to
early
get it.
adopter. Stop early adopter stuff, bro.
It's a habit. It's a
Just
habit,
stop
man.
it. Hey, look,
It's
you
a
got to
bad
realize something,
habit.
right? I'm early adopt. I'm probably going to early adopt an ARM laptop just to see if it performs. And here's the deal: if it don't perform, guess what? It's
You gonna
going
take that
back.
bad boy back?
Damn right. I'm
Hey,
not
no,
gonna be like, well,
hey, are
maybe
you
it'll get
gonna?
better. Let me stick around. Maybe it'll get better. Well, let me stick around. Then 4 years later, oh, it's gonna get better one these days.
I don't sound like that on
No,
radio. I don't sound
bro.
like that.
And you know how I can prove that's who I am, and I'm not just bullshitting. I can
What?
prove it because I did the same thing when Apple first got rid of Rosetta.
Yeah.
I went and bought a brand new freaking Mac Pro desktop, like $5,000+, and none of my software would work on it.
Mm.
So guess what? It went back the same weekend.
So are you going? So you plan on getting this from Best Buy? So are you
I'm a,
going to
I'm,
download? Are you going to download Cyberpunk right as soon before you leave the store?
I'm gonna come home with the device. I'm gonna come home with the device. But the deal is this: I'm most likely gonna buy the device on a Thursday evening,
Uh-huh.
just after work. Okay, I'm gonna bring the device home, and on that Thursday night, Friday night, I'm going to put it through the gauntlet.
Mm.
I'm gonna do everything from load freaking 136 track Pro 2 sessions on it to gaming
That,
in Cyberpunk, Flight Simulator. Games I know that freaking GPUs hate, especially Flight Simulator. I'm going to smack it with all these things, and if it runs like a champ, I'll keep the device.
mm.
Oh, and the other test is going to be the battery life test, obviously. So probably that Thursday night will be the gaming and the music production test, and then the entire day of Friday will be the battery life test. I'm going to attempt to run it as a regular device, running minor and major programs for the entire day to drain the battery, see what the battery life is like.
Um,
If it does not meet my expectations, it will be promptly returned to a store on Saturday morning.
oh no, you're not gonna give it the whole weekend.
Why would I need a whole weekend?
Mm.
It don't take that long to run tests.
I mean, given the fact that what they said, Qualcomm said, hey,
Bro, I want you
majority
to
of these
realize something,
games should,
Kia.
run fine.
I want you to realize something, Kia. When I bought my Lenovo Legion laptop, within 24 hours, it had a hard drive upgrade, a RAM upgrade, it had everything done within 24 hours because I don't move slow. I move fast. I attack like a hawk.
Mm.
I research stuff. I will research something I'm gonna purchase for a month before I buy it. That's the kind of person I am. I will
Okay.
literally watch every single video about the device.
I do the same exact
I
thing.
will literally read the boring user manual. I don't care. I'm that guy. I research the crap out of stuff before I buy it. And I also research pricing aggressively in the same manner.
Hey man, I did
A lot of people
hey,
buy emotionally.
I did that same thing when I bought when I bought that Tesla, and I hated it. And before I sat, you know how when you sit down, you know you're getting ready to mess up your algorithm. Like that is, look. When I made the decision, I said I gotta buy a Tesla. And I sat in front of my computer and I looked and and I got YouTube pulled up and I said, I'm about to really mess up my algorithm. And as soon as I typed in Tesla anything, bam, all of a sudden I'm getting all these bubbly videos popping up. And I'm like, oh, but I have to do my research. So power through.
Yeah. I'm that guy, bro. I'm the same way when I was young, when I bought cars. I think I told you the story about when I bought my Impala.
Yeah.
I literally left the lot with that Impala on Wednesday, and by Friday it had aftermarket headlights, tail lights, grill, rims, window tint, sound system.
Well, that's moving fast.
And I took it back to the dealership on a Friday to pick up some paperwork, and the guy said, "Oh, you got another one of these? Oh, okay." And I was like, "Nah, this is the one I bought
That's
for
the
y'all."
same one.
He was like, "There ain't no way." I was like, "Oh
Golly.
yeah, buddy." Oh, I did the brakes too. I did brake calipers and brake rotors, everything. That I literally top to bottom that car. From the moment I left that lot, that thing was getting stripped like a chop
You must
shop.
have already had a lot of those parts sitting at
Because
home already.
I ordered all the parts before I finalized the purchase. I sure did, sir. I went on eBay and found the aftermarket grill and the headlights and the tail lights, had them in the mail. I already had sourced the rims from a gentleman who I was going to buy them from. He had the same rims on another car. I was like, hey, I'll be down there to get them rims Friday. When got the
Man.
rims, I put the rims on in the man's driveway who I bought the rims from.
Wow.
I had that car. I literally transformed that car in 2.5 days.
Wow.
I don't
Hey,
play
but you know what?
around.
And I understand that. And
That's who
look,
I am.
I'm hoping to get a progress report from you when you start running through his paces, because I mean, I'm gonna have to live my life vicariously through you.
Well, I might have to.
I'm curious to see how it's gonna run.
I may
But
have
hey,
to.
you can't just do Cyberpunk. You're gonna have to do like Cyberpunk, and
I
then
told you I'm gonna do Cyberpunk. I'm gonna do the Call of Duty series. I'm gonna do Flight Simulator. I'm gonna do Destiny. I'm gonna run down through all the games I have on there. I'm gonna run the Grand Theft Auto. I'm probably gonna install everything as long as the hard drive's big enough. And if not, well then we're gonna have to cross that bridge when we get there, because hopefully they're smart enough to give you an additional M.2 slot on that thing. Oh my God! See, when they try to do integrated memory, they try to do integrated storage on the motherboard. Yes, doing it that way is cheaper. Cool, right? But even if you do that, have the decency to also have an additional M.2 slot.
Yeah, you would
With
think
a
so.
simple door, and it needs to be a simple door to do that upgrade. I don't need the RAM to be upgradable as long as the base model I get's like 16 gigs probably. I don't need the RAM to be upgradable. I know you want it to be. I could care less, because I realize that going from 16
I
to
don't.
32
Look,
gigs don't really give you that much.
Upgrading the RAM. I haven't upgraded RAM, and the only time I did the upgraded RAM was my wife's laptop, and it still didn't do much. It still didn't help much. So
you don't get that much from those upgrades anymore. That's why I know that whole, that other laptop company you like so much. And that's a joke. I can already upgrade RAM, and I don't need them to do it. Mother Novo, I could upgrade the RAM. Whatever. Cool. But yes, I will make sure you are privy.
hey, look, I would like to see some. I want some. If I have to use my iPhone so you can do FaceTime, I want to see this stuff up front.
Yeah. I might even just
like I said, I'm curious about it. I'm excited and curious at the same time. That's kind of what I'm just ready to go ahead and just see, apples, the oranges, the kumquats, whatever comparisons we're going to end up getting for this. So, because I do feel like Apple got to jump on us, for real. That's kind of how I looked at it. I was like, oh, you got to jump, sir. I could see this battle, but the war is not over.
Well, like I say, it'll give us Windows fanboys what we need. I think it's not so much as a battle between the Apple and the Microsoft world. People have already mostly chosen their sides in this war.
Mostly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
it's not even a battle. You know what this is? It's making right by the Windows users is what it is. We need 20-hour battery life laptops. We
Hold on one
just
second. Rando, what's going on? Rando Geek, what's up, man? But yeah, hey, no, I'm right there with you. I just think that it's been past due time, and I feel like everybody's kind of been waiting around for x86 to go ahead and die. Look, if you, I'm telling you, the second you give me that review and let me know, it's probably going to be the day x86 is dead.
Yeah, we're gonna have to hold a live stream funeral. I might even find a lady to sing us.
I'm telling you, you keep
in
that
memoriam.
laptop. That's the day x86 has died. I'm telling you, the second you go, Keon, I was pondering, and life is hard, and therefore we're gonna have to pour something out for the little homie.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and tell you, if that thing can perform, if it can just keep up with my Lenovo Legion, if it can just keep up with it, x86 is done in my house.
Oh wow!
I will literally sell my Lenovo Legion, and I will sell my Yoga.
Wow!
I will rid myself.
I'll buy them from you.
Oh, and I also need I need Lenovo to make a Yoga with that chip in it.
Oh, you look! I'm telling you, it's the fact that if the benchmarks and all that stuff that could be believed, if it does, they're gonna stick that in everything. Yeah. We are gonna go. It's gonna transform into an ARM based world.
So my question is, what are the CEOs of the other companies gonna say if this thing performs? This is the reason. That's the reason why I don't believe it. Like you gonna tell me these other companies don't have the resources to be knowing that this thing is that good? So is Qualcomm lying about how good it is, or are Intel and AMD really that dumb?
I don't know, man. I feel like they're that dumb.
If they're that dumb, they deserve the agonizing, painful death that is coming to them. Because that's the reason why I'm skeptical, bro. If it's this good, why are AMD and Intel just acting like nothing's about to happen?
Look, man, we not already talked about this subject before. Boomers don't see the iceberg, man. Even look, they couldn't see the iceberg with full on headbeam lights and early warning system.
I just don't know, man. Something about it don't sit right with me. And let's be real too. The only reason, like we already said it before, the only reason why the current ARM chips that we already have access to on Windows aren't successful is because they're overpriced.
Yeah.
If they would have made them the same price with the battery life improvements as the low end Windows computers, that market would have already been dead too.
I think so. I think
you price it at $390. You price a $399 budget machine that gets 20 hours of life, and the machine next to it is also $399, but it only gets 4. It's a no-brainer for the purchaser, especially if they're performing the same. Mind you, we're talking about low-end laptops.
I've always speculated that a lot of these things that you end up seeing are just backroom deals. So like they know they see the writing on the wall, but then they ask for a little bit more time, right? They go, hey, look, don't put this out just yet. We'll have something that's coming out. But then they drag their feet to they made how you make a promise you can't keep? But everybody's like, hey, look, we'll give you a chance. But as soon as this time frame comes, that's it. And I think that's what happened is the chips were priced higher than x86 was, so they kind of just died on the vine. But then Qualcomm came back around and was like, look, that embargo's done. Are you ready for the future, or are you ready to keep playing around with the past? And have you noticed that you haven't heard anything? Nothing coming out of AMD, nothing coming out of Intel. Look, they still churning out the same old x86 chips.
Well, I'm going to start some research tonight. I'm going to find out what is the comparable Intel and AMD chip to the existing ARM laptops on the market. I need to look into that.
Oh, hey, I would love to know what the price
should be. They'll tell me where the price should fall for the existing tier performance.
I just think that
you can buy HP Stream laptop for $200. It is slow as hot garbage. Okay, if you added $100 to do the existing ARM chip, which is not that slow, you can sell them all day for $300. people would buy them,
Yeah.
especially because of the battery life.
But that's what I'm saying is I feel that the handshaking in the industry, because remember, who are we going to be getting these from? Qualcomm is not dealing with you and I. They're going to Lenovo and Samsung and all the OEMs. And I think that those OEMs were trying to give AMD and Intel the benefit of the doubt. I really do. I think that it was like, hey, look, you know what? We've had we've been customers of yours for a long time. And we don't want to ruin our customers, our customer relationship, but we can't be perceived to keep falling behind, Apple. I'm sorry. Lenovo is not going to keep waiting around for, AMD and Intel to finally get their stuff together. And I think that what we're seeing is probably something like that. And all it has to do is just do what you just said, which is play. If it could just play Cyberpunk at 4K, it's it. It's over.
Yeah, it's over. The GPU market's in trouble too.
Oh, you could. Here's the thing: you could see Nvidia making moves. You already see Nvidia making moves.
Nvidia's already got all the R&D done.
Yeah, you can already, but Intel and AMD are the ones that's dragging their feet. Nvidia already saw Nvidia saw their future was like, oh no, we don't like that future. Change.
Yeah, Nvidia will be the one to come out and show out.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is good for business.
They show what they could do. They show what they could do with the Tegra chip for 5 years on a Nintendo Switch. Same chip for 5 years. No upgrade to it, nothing. Just, hey, we're consistent. But hey, I just think that we're past due with Apple sitting up on top of the roost with better battery life and better all this other stuff and being able to do, editing on the go while still being able to be entertained. I'm sorry. It's time to go ahead and rip the gloves off now. But hey, speaking of Apple, what have I told you? Hold on. What have I told you that Apple well, I like to say my disclaimer first. All Apple people, if you might not like this next segment because it's not going to look pretty. But the DOJ sues Apple for monopolizing smartphone market. So to give people catch people up, Apple crossed the 50% mark a couple months ago in the smartphone market. And now, because of their closed ecosystem, which everybody loves, is because it just works. Guess what? Now you have monopolized the smartphone market, and you need to be open. Don't you find that funny? Android said at 60% for a long time. No, nothing. As soon as Apple crossed the 50% mark, all of a sudden Apple get hit with a lawsuit.
Just looking at their trajectory, possibly.
Yeah.
They're saying
and the way they're going, they can hit 60% in next year. And all because their ecosystem is closed off.
Yeah, basically, you can only be so big before you need to sacrifice.
But the thing is Apple, of course, Apple's complaining, saying that, hey, our stuff just doesn't work with Androids.
Well, this is us. This is us heading into the UK type of situation. Third party.
Yeah, this is us barreling into it.
Yep.
So, long and short of it, guys, is basically the bigger your company becomes, the more concessions you have to end up doing. And if you're perceived to be closed off and not trying to be open to everybody, like RCS is one of them. And I think that this is one of those things that they're going to start using, because in this article they mentioned it. Let me make sure they mentioned it. So they brought up, cross-platform messaging. Here you go. With rivals. So that these are the things that can get thrown at your company for not being like, open. Oh, smart cross platform for smartwatches. Oh, no radio. Here you go. Let me pull this article up.
Yeah, you can already
It
use
said,
a Samsung watch with an iPhone, but you can't use the
yeah,
Apple Watch with the Android. Yep.
no radio. What makes it so bad is they said that they tried to do it. Do you really think that somebody in Cupertino was really trying to make their Apple
The
Watch work on an Android?
the
Like
reason
they
why
truly,
the reason why it's impossible is because in order to actually do it, that means that the Androids would have to have access to the software database for the Apple Watch.
right,
Meaning,
and they
because
don't want
remember
them to have it.
the updates and all that stuff are triggered through that same database, and a lot of that stuff is linked to iCloud, which means you now have to allow iCloud to work on the Samsung phone. You see, uh, you have to keep adding all this access. That's what it is. It ain't about
And then,
trying.
right, they saw they saw the snowball effect, which was if you could do it here, you could do it everywhere. And if you start doing it everywhere, guess what? People are going to start expecting it, which means that Apple obviously does this closed off because it's giving a market share. I mean,
Yep.
if you look at it from just a sheer market share point, if Apple before they hit 50% was being open and was like, hey, look, you could put iCloud on a toaster, I don't think that people would have moved over. But apparently, being able to be as closed off as they gave them the market in America.
You have to realize
It,
too that if you let one company that is also closed off, they basically end up controlling the nation.
right.
If you can't give one company that much power, if they take all
No.
that market share and now they're also closed, they literally control everything moving in America. All
That's
telecommunications happening in America, all multimedia messaging, everything would end up going through Apple. And so
yeah.
the way
Which
you
you know
stop
what?
that
Which
from
I
being
think
monopolized is you force them to open it so people can still use their devices, but choose to send their stuff to other pathways.
right.
Without that,
Which I
Apple literally
believe
would be in control of America if you think about it.
that's true. Which I believe that there's probably like the case against them is going to be kind of a daunting one because if you really sit there and think about it, do you honestly think that Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T wanted to keep the SMS servers around as they've been
Oh no,
moving
of
away?
course
They
not.
of course they wanted to move away from it. If they had a chance to kill MMS and SMS, they would have took the first chance they could.
Yeah.
But I think because Apple being a predominant user on their service is what kept it around.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about RCS. It mattered everything about interoperability.
And like I say, what if iCloud goes down and there's no alternative
Right.
because you're locked? You see,
Yep.
all of a sudden, nobody in America can message now, or 80% of the population, whatever market share they get to. Oh, 7% of the population literally can't communicate because iCloud's down. Well, why can't
Right.
they just download another app? Oh, because it don't
Because
work. It's
Apple don't
tough.
allow it. Like this is that blessing and curse side of being closed. Like, yeah, you get all these wonderful things and everything's integrated, but now you trigger DOJ.
Mm-hmm.
When they hit the 50% mark, understand your closed ecosystem um gets looked at very, very hard. So it I don't know. I just feel that um oh, hold on. Check out what Fierce Wireless did for theirs. You're gonna love it because obviously it popped up in my news feed.
Oh yeah, it's going.
Buckle up. DOJ case against Apple could take years, though. Of course, Apple's going to drag this out. Come on, man. They have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders to make this thing go till death do you part. But obviously, the worm in the apple is going up against the DOJ.
To me, I think it would be smarter for them I think it would be smarter for them to not fight it.
But they're going. They're going to look. Microsoft got split apart in the EU and America because they got too big.
I don't think they should fight it. I think they should find a decent compromise and just let business keep rolling.
If
Because
anything, the radio
you
this
know what's
gives.
going to happen, right? You're going to get these Looney Tune government officials to start saying wild stuff that ain't even true. but dumb people are going to believe it, right? So what's going to happen is it's going to damage Apple's reputation more to fight this. And you know what I want? You know what I
Yeah.
would? I hope that it's the right wing that is pushing this case because
Oh
they really gonna say some
Lord.
dumb stuff, and it's gonna be so damning that people will start. Well, I don't even want an iPhone no more.
Yeah, did you hear that all apples have worms in them? Like,
They
oh,
gonna
that's
be
it. That's all we
they
need.
they're gonna be burning. They're gonna be burning freaking iPhones like it was burning Nikes a few years
Oh
ago.
Lord.
Un-American. Apple doesn't want you to have your freedoms. They think they could get to control whether or not you get to communicate.
Oh. No radio. You basically writing the tax form.
Hey, I'm just telling you, bro. I think Apple should just say just stand on and say, hey, we make better software and better phones, and we don't need to lock it to prove it.
Well, you know
Just do
what?
it.
Speaking of that locking, because Apple is doing a 180 change. Hold up. Where's it at? Where is it at? Here we go. They're doing a 180 perceived 180 change by dealing with OpenAI, Google, and different other AI featured companies. Because I had this conversation a couple times this week with some customers talking about Apple finally going to make Siri better.
It's because Siri is trash.
Siri, I had some people in my car cracking up laughing. I was like, "Yo, if you ever been in somebody's house who has like Google products, there's queries asking all over the place. Hey, what time is it? From everything from what time it is to who's the president of such and such at what time, because Google is going to give you the relevant data, right? But everybody I've heard that use Siri doesn't even like asking for Siri. They'd be like, "Oh, I was trying to talk to you," or the only thing they ask Siri to do is
Set alarms, and that's
oh
about
no,
it.
turn on and off the lights.
Oh, she can't even do that reliably.
Hey, that's all I've heard. Look, prime example is when we speak into Speed Tech. Speed Tech has like the S word because my iPhone started waking up. So the S word, started. He'd be like, "Oh, dim the lights or turn off the lights or this," and I'm like, I don't never hear him say anything else outside of that. Never. He'd be like, "I'm getting ready to go, guys," and he'd be like, "S word, turn off the lights." So I'd be like, "Oh, have a good night." But he don't ask about nothing else, and nobody with iPhones I've ever heard like query anything
Well,
because
even
the
like
query is that bad.
my camera and smart lighting system isn't even compatible with Siri. It only works with Alexa. So
Mm.
can't do nothing with that.
Even with people like with Alexa, they like, hey man, people be querying the heck out of it fast, but they
Yeah.
don't do it with Apple, which I found that to be so weird. So now that you're talking about Apple potentially, partnering, because this obviously sounds like an Apple thing to do. They don't want one company to have a monopoly on their device. They'll make Google be, duke it out with everybody else, and then eventually choose Google for their AI. That's probably what they're doing. Like, hey, you wanna do AI features on our devices? Show us the money. But then you know what? This also breaks that whole mantra of your data stays on your phone, which is one of the reasons why Siri never got better. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. No pool of relevant data.
No, that pool of relevant data you need to be better was never there. So Apple's doing a 180. I mean, they're doing a 180 behind and looking like they're reaching out. Imagine you got integrated Chat GPT into your cell phone assistant on iPhones.
Yeah.
First of all, that will be great to see because then it might push AI in more into the mainstream because right now it's at the edge. Everybody fears they're going to lose their job from AI.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, it's still going to just be queries like asking questions. That's all
Yeah.
I basically do is like, hey, what I'm looking for something in particular. Give me the answer. But I wanted to find out from you how you might have felt about that one, since we're on our Apple segment of things that Apple should not do.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens, man.
Chat GPT will soon be on iPhone, sir. Not an app integrated.
So we already have Alexa on the iPhone for the home automation stuff. So.
That's true. I mean, you got all of them working together for home automation.
And I've already replaced Siri with Alexa for the home automation stuff. So
Wow.
she's already been replaced.
No, okay. So let me ask you this question: why did you choose Alexa over Siri or even
The Siri
Google's
does
assistant?
not work. It does not work for my lights at all. It's not possible.
Oh,
Yeah, my brand of license does not support Siri.
what about Google?
Uh, they don't support Google either.
Whoa.
Yep,
What brand of lights are you running?
the Wise.
Why is it's not supported by Google?
Nope.
Wow.
At least not on the iPhone. It ain't. Not for you to talk to it. Nope.
Mm, that's different. I thought
But the thing is,
because
Alexa supports every brand you can think of. That's kind of why Alexa is your better go-to, because it doesn't matter what brand, it just works. That's the only thing.
right.
It's one of them gray areas where, like Samsung is getting better because they got that new integration, as far as the menu, but it still doesn't work with the voice commands properly.
You talking about what
Even on
smart
Samsung.
things?
Yep. The voice commands are not on point even with the smart things. You still end up having to go into the smart things menu there to trigger stuff. If you
Oh.
just want to, but if you just want to talk to something and you don't want to do a lot of work, Alexa just works. And that's Alexa on the phone, and obviously the Alexa speakers and everything else. It just works. It doesn't matter what brand you got. You name a brand, it works.
Mm,
It's the same product. You're going to go where everything just works.
that's true.
And that's people say that about Apple, but it's not true.
I think, hey, look, we've already deduced about the whole, hey, just because it has Apple stamped on it doesn't necessarily mean it's the best.
That's why I hate when people
This,
make statements like it just works. That's not true. It does not
nah.
just work. So it's hilarious to me when people make those kind of statements.
Well, I don't think I bashed on Apple too bad this segment. I just think that, it's going to be interesting to see an Apple that has to play nice with everybody, which I never thought that we would end up seeing this day. And then
Yeah.
on top of that, they're going to end up using outside information to make their stuff better. Who would ever thought? I would have never thought that was coming. That day was coming. But hey, as soon as they cross the 50% mark, that's exactly what ended up happening. You open yourself up to it. So I would like to thank all the iPhone users out there today that you have finally made me realize a dream that I didn't think was coming. I thought Apple was going to be closed forever.
You can
Guess
only
what?
get so big before you get in
I
trouble.
mean, no radio. We're talking about multiple app stores on an iPhone. Ooh, Epic Gaming has been trying to get that to happen for a long time. It happened in the EU, but Apple was like, as soon as you leave the EU, you can dead that.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, I might be able to get me one of these Apple Watches with an Android phone soon. Hey,
Yeah, but why would you want the Apple Watch in the first
I'm
place
just
if you have
saying.
an
Hey,
Android?
hey, I was told that it's better. I'm not.
Oh
I,
man, it's the Apple
I've
Watch
been
world is.
told.
You know what my opinion is on the Apple Watch? The only thing that's better is the battery life. That's it. The app selection is trash, and unless you use what is it? Unless you use you only have like two options for like mainstream streaming apps to even use on the device natively. For me, I mean, to be honest with you, if you want a smartwatch, you're better off just getting a damn Fitbit because that's the main thing that people who actually use their watches are doing is fitness tracking.
Yeah,
If you actually use that watch as a primary communication device, you will kill it in no time.
of course.
Which is why I say that. Which is why I've also had an argument that smartwatches are not ready. Just
Oh
like the handheld
man,
gaming ain't ready, the smartwatch ain't ready neither.
look. I think that it's cool to be able to kind of look like you, David Hasselhoff, communicating to your car kit through your watch, but I don't think that we're at that point yet. Putting
But
an
you know,
LTE or 5G antenna inside your watch is going to kill the battery.
but I'll tell you, bro, like 5 years ago, everybody and their mama you see with an Apple Watch on. I'm getting where I don't even see people wearing Apple Watches anymore.
Still wear my watch. I still wear mine.
Yeah,
I use it for my.
but the Apple Watch specifically, I'm saying the Apple Watch user base. I don't see them wearing their watches as much as they used to. I used to could not escape people wearing Apple Watches. I can go to work tomorrow and walk through an entire office building, and I probably won't find one person with an Apple Watch on. And I would bet you
Whoa.
money that 90% of them own one and just don't use it. I ain't saying people ain't buying them. I'm saying they
No,
ain't
you know
using
what?
them.
It's that killer app. Understand if
The
you're not
killer app ain't there.
if you're not a fitness health guru nutball, no offense to any health guru
No.
nutballs out there, but that's kind of what it is. Like you have to find that area where you want that's what you need for it to do, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have that area where you really need for it to do, like for me, it's health monitoring. I mean, like
Exactly.
if like if all of a sudden if let's say I had AFib, yeah, the watch stays on my wrist all day long. But if I was worried that I might have AFib and AFib runs in my family, you're gonna want something that's early warning that will go off and say, "Hey, look, you know, you were sitting down, but your heart rate is elevated. What's going
Yep.
on there, good man, good person?"
Yeah, I think that there is use cases for smartwatches. I just think that people are not as excited about them as they were 5 years ago. It's kind of
Right.
died. It's died down basically. Yeah, it's
I mean,
really
it
become
comes
back
down, it
up.
comes back around to that use case. You saw the new, what was it, the newer Apple Watch? They're going after those people who like to go live in the desert.
Yeah, cool.
We're gonna have to acknowledge that those people that's in the desert. Apparently, we're doing a lot to accommodate for them, sir. I'm just saying. You know,
Yeah,
they're
but
getting cell phone signals in the desert. They're getting watches that work that can give off signals, hoping that let's say that you get lost, somebody can hear you. That they give them higher decibels as a early warning system on their watches. I mean, they're doing a lot for these people who don't live in the city. I'm just saying they're showing a lot of love to them,
to
but just
this
in case, maybe something might happen. But yeah, that's me. That's enough of me poking fun at Apple. I'm just saying that, I just never thought that this day would come where Apple's going to end up being open. This is going to be a fun time.
what is this article? I'm trying to find an article if anybody has done a study to see how many people are actually using their Apple Watches. Not how many people own
Oh,
them, how many are actually using them. That's what I want to find.
Oh, you know what? That's probably a hard study to find.
First article I found said that they can't wait till people stop wearing Apple Watches because they suck. The watches suck.
Wow.
Let's see details. Let's see.
Oh, before we go, I got this one. I would like to say, I like to give credit where credit's due. Who would ever thought that Verizon is fighting for our ability to have unlocked phones, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Verizon of all companies, like who would have ever thought this one? I mean,
And
like apparently
they're
up
not
is down
fighting.
and down is sideways.
They are not fighting for you. This is them just being petty because they want somebody else to join them in the unlock.
Radio, what?
They
You
like,
telling
we don't
me?
want to be the only one having to do this. That's all that is. But just keep in mind, unlocked does not mean you can just reuse the phone. I want everybody to remember that.
Oh, no, radio.
Unlocked is remember. So as you already know, Keon,
Yes.
if you got a phone from Verizon, it unlocks
Uh-huh.
in 60 days, right? But
Yes,
if you stop paying for said phone, it will no longer work on Verizon's network.
that's true.
It will only work on other networks. So you don't pay for it and you sell it to some dummy and he tries to activate it on Verizon, it is
They're gonna want the
blacklisted.
whole price of that phone back.
No, they
I've
won't
been
even
on the
let you
phone.
do that. They won't even let you do that. They won't
What
do
was
nothing
it?
with you. That's a paperweight now. You have to use it on another network. You can't go back to Verizon
Wow.
with it. Yeah, you can go to T-Mobile, AT&T with it, but you can't go back to Verizon. So it's not there is so Verizon phones are not completely unlocked after 60 days. They're only unlocked to other networks, but not to Verizon's network.
You know what? I might end up if I'm gonna end up getting another iPhone. I'm not gonna do it through T-Mobile. I'm probably gonna do it through Verizon and
You
get the
got what?
iPhone.
You got
I
a
have
14?
I got a 14 Pro
Yeah,
Max.
yeah. Well, if you end up
So
selling
I'll
it, let
probably
me know.
so I'll trade it in to Verizon and get like let's say the 16.
I got you. I got you.
That's what I end up doing. That way, because right now, because like I said, I did want to try out other like AT&T and Verizon on that phone, but T-Mobile wouldn't unlock it. And as I said, the dude, like the radio, when I tell you the guy I ended up getting, because I called like multiple times, and I was like, look, I just need the phone unlocked. I'm going out of town. I'm going across the country. And they were like, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. And they never did it, right? And then I called and I was like, look, why can I get this phone unlocked? I was told I can get it. And the guy was like, we just don't unlock them. Sorry. We just don't unlock those phones because
Bro,
we can't relock them.
I have thought about just getting a 15 just so I could have the USB-C now.
That's what I want. Oh
Only
God.
because, bro, you know how much of a headache it is that my
It's having
iPhone, it's the only device that uses a lightning plug. Nothing else I
yes,
own
the
uses that
only
plug.
device, which is a pain in my rear end, man.
None of my Bluetooth headphones, none of my other phones, none of my laptop, nothing uses that same thing. That is the one oddball cable.
Look, we're already a couple months in. The iPhone 16 will be coming out. You might as well just wait because look, I know I'm gonna get a good trade in for it. I mean, for the most part, it barely leaves home anyway. I use it to shoot my videos on for my speed testing, but that's about all I use it for. It's funny because people look at me crazy and go, "Your iPhone is at home? Who does that?
Mm,
Why would you not have your iPhone with you?"
mm, mm,
But
mm.
but yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I really genuinely thought that Verizon was looking out for my best interest here. I read the article and everything. They were like, look,
They just like, hey man, they gotta do something too. Sure, we gotta do it.
oh look, they are trying to urge like the closure of the T-Mobile what is it? Mint buyout, right?
And I don't have a problem with it.
To have that as a caveat going forward.
But you know who's gonna hate it?
Who?
The lending department.
Yeah.
You think it's hard to get they ain't gonna want to finance no phones no more, dog.
They're gonna look at your credit and go, bruh, nah, we don't trust you.
Like, nah, because you can just leave anytime. That's why I said they need to put something in place that allows you to leave and still make your payments on your phone. That's what Verizon should be pushing. If they really wanted to do something, they should be pushing a new terms and conditions where you can leave, but you will continue to make your payments on the device every month. That way,
Yeah.
you're not stuck and you're not leaving us with a bill. That's what the DOJ should have done anyway, or whoever's in charge. That's what they should have done anyway. Even when Verizon's being, it should be yes, you can switch carriers, but you will. But if you don't make the payments on that phone, they can relock it. That's what it should be.
Like right here, so it says the argument for locking. In an FCC filing, Verizon argues that in some cases, phone locks can be beneficial to customers. First of all, Verizon, I was just believing in you, and you go to the FCC and say some stupid stuff like this, and then it says an unlocking requirement may discourage a carrier from deeply discounting a phone because it can't recoup its subsidies if a customer immediately moves to another carrier. If you have very good service and I'm loyal to you, does it really matter? You should be encouraging me to stay through what you've done, not what you could do to me.
I want to figure out who works at Verizon in these apartments and how dumb they are. Like, dude, like, what I want to know is why haven't they already? Why aren't we? They could make this argument if they were to also add what I just said. The phone could be unlocked, but they have to continue to make the payments.
Yeah.
If they miss 3 consecutive payments, the phone locks.
But here's the thing. Here's the problem.
That's
It's
what it should be.
the iPhone. Like Apple would have to play nice with everybody and lock
Exactly.
phones.
But
Apple's not going to
remember,
do that.
we already argued the DOJ after they asked for having being closed off.
Right.
So,
And
with
then all that this
eSIMs,
does is give them even more power.
for me, with eSIMs, it would be easier. It should be easier to lock stuff because they should be able to send software on the back end using the IMEI that tells the eSIM to not work.
Right.
That wouldn't require Apple even be involved.
Yeah, but that requires them to have a little bit more pull on the phone too.
But here's the thing: they already don't have anything to do. Whenever T-Mobile activates that eSIM on an iPhone, that ain't going through iCloud server. That ain't
That's
going
true.
through. Yeah. So, to me, that there should be a centralized eSIM database, basically, and that database should be able to be notified and given updates from all the carriers. So if you have a profile, just like the ghost profile Facebook got on you on that cell phone,
Uh-huh.
that database should be able to have messages sent to it that say, "Hey, this person didn't pay the bill,"
That's true.
and the phone will stop working. That way, the original operator isn't holding the customer hostage with the cell phone, but they're also not giving up free money when the customer ditches the bill. That's how it should be. So that wouldn't require they pay off the phone, but it would require they maintain a payment plan. So if they're paying, and guess what? I would even argue that they need to honor. I would even argue to make, and this is me being nice, that they would even need to honor any discounts given on that phone too. So if you gave that person that phone for like half off deal or something, and instead of paying $31 a month, they're only paying like $15 for the phone, then that should be all they have to pay as well.
Well, here's the thing, though, Radio. Take that a step further. Okay, so Verizon does a complete hey, you can't reactivate this on our network. Period. Right. So let's say the person bails on them, and they got away with a 16 Pro Max, but then all of a sudden they realize hey, I gotta go. I don't want this phone no more. They sell it to somebody else, but then that person wants to go to Verizon or they're a Verizon customer. They shouldn't be like, oh, that phone could never come back ever again. You've been banned from our country forever.
Yeah.
Hey, look, hey, this thing got a balance on it. You want it to work?
Yeah,
Pay the
but here's the
balance.
thing. But here's the problem, right? Can Verizon prove that you bought that phone, and didn't steal it?
Ooh,
See, there's the gray area with what you're saying. That's the reason why you
ooh,
can't just pay the balance and take the phone, because you could have stolen it. How do I
that's
know
true.
that you actually bought it from Jim Bob? Who, hell, Jim Bob might even be dead. Verizon just
Oh,
knows the bill didn't get paid this month. Jim Bob's dead now. His grandson that stole the phone.
but you know what? But here's the
You
thing:
see,
that the
it's
argument
gray
they're
area.
saying is, oh, they can't give these deep discounts because the person might leave the company. And I'm like, well, if you're so worried about the phone not being paid for, is let that phone keep the balance on it. Like as soon as that person stops paying the bill, then guess what? That phone can't work until somebody's paying on that bill again. Now, granted, hey, you do run into that problem where how do you find out if somebody has gotten the phone legally or
Exactly.
whatever, which makes it even harder
What we're
because
gonna do?
it's
Add
kind of
titles to
hard.
phones now. You gotta get a title transfer to DMV. Come on, Don. You're doing too much.
The cell phone title
You see what I'm
transfer.
saying? You see what I'm saying? That's too complicated.
Oh, but already, hey, at the rate these phones are getting up there in price, I think we're probably going to have to do that.
Or at best, come up with a transfer responsibility
Which,
that
hey,
that, that works for just the
that's a
phone
money
without
making
having to.
opportunity right there.
What I'm saying, without having to take on the entire account. I.e., you got a certain phone I wanted, and you're going to leave the network. Can you just transfer that payment plan to one of my lines, and I take that
Right.
phone? Something
But here's
like
the
that would
thing:
even be
the
comparable.
carrier, the radio, the carrier already has your personal information tied to that phone. So let's say that I wanted to sell you my iPhone. All we have to do is just go together to a Verizon store and say, "Hey, I'm transferring this phone to him."
Exactly, that's transfer responsibility.
So they obviously see that the IMEI number was tied to me, and then the phone is going to you, and you picking up the payments.
But guess what? People ain't doing that. They just run off without. They just run off with the phone. They're not even selling them. They just putting them on another network, dog. Let's just be real. They ain't even selling them. Come on. We talking about iPhones. Most people these iPhones be keeping them for 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Oh man, look, if it wasn't for the fact that the apps got bigger and bigger, people would still be walking around with a 4S.
Bro, these people are walking around with freaking sevens right now, and the battery died in
Yep,
2 hours, and they just living
yep.
with it because they too cheap.
Don't call them cheap, sir.
It's the truth.
I
I have
think that
met these
people.
people. Battery died in 3 hours, and they just keeping that phone anyway.
I presume that people who are like that, they just don't like the change.
But they are dealing with change. They went from having an all day battery to a 3 hour.
It's gradually over time. They were able to adjust their lifestyle to match a 3 hour battery.
No, they
That's
no
it.
they no they just annoy me all the time asking for a damn charger cable.
You have a charger cable. Do you have a charger cable? No, I don't have a charger cable. Look, why do you think I have chargers in my car? People look up like, and you know what the funny thing is? It always like the chargers only start getting used more when iPhone is getting ready to launch. Hey, people, you can call me conspiracy theory crazy. I watch what people do in my car, okay, and people go from, hey, can I? What is that? To all of a sudden they just grab it and start plugging in. And closer towards the iPhone launch date, people should start grabbing, plugging in. Because why? I'm not gonna say that Apple might be killing those phones, but I'm just gonna say that the iPhones get charging eclectic a little later as you
That
get
was
closer
2
towards.
years ago. It ain't really true no more, dog. You
Yeah, right.
you leaving by the
Yeah,
character.
right.
Hey, I just went through an iPhone launch, sir, and that didn't happen. I
Oh,
literally
not
charged this phone. Remember, I told you the number one thing about the iPhone for me is the battery life. I don't really like the rest of the stuff, but I can tell you right now, this battery is on 40%. Do you think I'm even concerned about charging this phone?
no, no. You're
I
not.
won't. I won't charge it. And you know what? If I get off this thing with you right now and I go to bed, when I wake up in the morning, guess what my battery gonna be at?
Probably like 34%.
No, 39.
Mm.
Gonna change 1% overnight. Real talk.
But that's because you don't have TikTok on your phone, sir.
Now here you go with your BS. But it's just the truth, though.
You don't have
It, it,
you don't heavily use social media on your phone.
we got the same problem in the Windows laptop world that we have with the Android phone. The battery life is atrocious. I love everything about the Android phone, but the battery life is atrocious.
Yeah,
I
true.
can charge this thing. I can charge this 14 Pro Max. If I charge to 100% tonight, and as long as I'm not just literally just dogging the crap out of it all day tomorrow, if I'm just using it normal usage, I will charge it up, and it will not need to be charged again until probably Tuesday morning.
Yeah, I get about that long on mine because
With my Android,
I leave.
I had to plug it up every night. I don't have to plug up this iPhone every night.
Yeah,
So I just
I
had to
leave
be
my
honest
iPhone at
about that.
home. I leave my iPhone at home, and it will literally sit there. It probably go almost, I say, 4 or 5 days before I have to put it back on the charger again. And I of course I wirelessly charge it because I run into I don't have any lightning cables all around me. Everything is USB-C. So the only universal way to charge an iPhone is Qi charging it.
Well, I can give you one. I left the house to go to my brother's wedding with about 64% battery.
Uh-huh.
And my first initial thought was, dang, I should have charged my phone. Right?
Uh-huh.
Well, I got there and I was having so much fun not using my phone that I left the wedding. I left the wedding with like 61% battery.
See.
I probably only took about 4 photos and took
Now
no
imagine it.
videos.
Now imagine if you were taking selfies all day.
I still would have came home with
TikTok.
45. Remember, we ain't talking all day. We're talking about 5-hour time frame.
Yeah, but look,
Even if I was using it nonstop, Keon, I would have still came home with like 45% battery. If I was on my
hey,
phone 4, I would have came home with 5% battery or less.
yes, but you don't have TikTok on your phone, sir.
You go again with your bull crap.
TikTok and Facebook are the
I do
dreaded
have
evils.
I have Facebook on my phone,
But
sir.
you probably got notifications and stuff turned off because I do. I,
The
I
only thing I
turn
turn
notifications
notifications
off
off
on
on is
that.
that freaking Google chat because them people know how to shut up. Yeah, I said it.
Oh, but hey, look, hey, and I close on this story, man, because there was this lady that got in the car. She was like, "Oh my god, my phone died," and she plugged her phone in, and as soon as the power came back on, every chime from every social media kicked on at the same time. Every single chime. So whatever the unique chime is for Facebook, that one kicked on. Snapchat, Waymo, Wee, whatever chime it basically kicked in. And I was like, well, that's the reason why your phone died. That was the reason right there. But man, I just think that kicking everybody, like kicking you completely off the network because the phone wasn't paid for and people move on, but they don't want to pay the bill. I mean, they're going to get that back through through the creditor anyway.
No, they're
You know,
not.
yes, they are. You don't think they're going to get that back to the creditor?
Dude, they're not going to file a lawsuit on you. And if you don't pay it, you just don't pay it. What do you mean?
Yeah, when you sit out there trying to get a home loan, you be like,
Yeah, but once
don't you
again,
still owe
let's
Verizon for something? I thought I
let's
paid them.
let's play that game. I can play that game because I literally went through it. Okay, when Verizon pissed me off years ago because they pulled some BS
Yeah,
on a freaking warranty swap on a phone. I think I owed them like $800. Right, I left and went to AT&T, threw the phone in the trash. Whatever. About
right.
3 years later, I wanted to buy a house.
Yeah.
And the bank said, "Hey, we'll give you the loan, but you got to pay Verizon."
See, that's what I'm saying.
Wait a minute.
And what did you do?
Wait a minute. Let's play the game, right? Remember, I told you I owed them $800.
Yes.
How much you think I paid to get rid of that debt?
I don't know, man. Did you pay the $800?
No,
Oh,
paid
excuse me.
$180.
Okay.
You know why? Because the
Why?
creditors don't pay full price on debts.
You paid for what
They
they
pay
paid for the debt.
they pay pennies on the dollars for those debts. So you might owe $1,000, but a debt collector's gonna pay $10 for it.
and you have to reimburse what they paid for.
No, you don't, because remember, I just said they paid $10. I paid them $180. I still paid them more than they paid for it. They make a profit. The point is, it ain't
Yeah,
$800. Because the reason why it's like that is they will buy out. They will buy out 100,000 accounts that are delinquent. So you say $10, $20 times 100,000. That's Verizon or whoever just taking whatever they can get just to
right.
get something and moving on. They still take a loss. You know what I'm saying? So they still never
Yeah.
fully get the money back.
But see, I'm just saying, man, that if they end up going further down this rabbit hole and forcing everybody else to do the same thing, the only thing is these phones are getting more expensive, which means there's not going to be any subsidies for these phones. You might as well just go straight to Apple and get your phone.
Well, people already do
Look,
that.
purchase it on your own credit,
But,
call it
but
a
that's the
day.
thing, though. But that's the thing, though. People are already doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I've
The
been doing
only
it way
ones,
more.
the only ones not doing it are your casual customers.
Right.
Because the casual customers are going to get those deals. You ain't getting those deals at the Apple store. You paying what the phone costs.
That's it.
Yeah, you go to Verizon. You pull something like me, where you literally give them a broken iPhone 12, and they give you $500 off the phone.
Ooh,
I gave them an iPhone 12 with the screen hanging off of it. Okay,
wow.
the screen wasn't even just cracked; it was literally hanging off with the cables, and they gave me $500 credit for it.
And they threw that sucker into a bin full of called broken
And
iPhones.
don't care at all. Phone was $1,100, took off 500. So my phone payment is literally like 12 or something dollars.
Oh
12 or $13.
man. Well, Mr. No Radio, um, as much as I would love to see Verizon do the right thing, apparently we're gonna be stuck with this system for a while, man.
I just want to see the DOJ get more creative. Don't just do straight unlock and do some type of, hey, separate the phone payment from the contract.
Hey, I think you got these storefronts. You might as well look. You got other companies like Swappa and eBay, pretty much becoming brokers online. I mean, you might as well just go ahead and become the modern day pawn shop and just be like, hey, look, you come in, you want to sell this phone, you can either sell it to us, back to us, and and
Yeah,
and
but that
and,
convolutes it for them though. That's how they
eh,
don't. That's a lot more effort involved in that. They don't want to do all that, bro. Too much
well,
work. Think about it. You already waiting in line at these stores. If depending on where you go, now you want to add a whole pawn shop layer to the cell phone store? Nah, bro. Which is why even here, bro, the pawn shops are refusing to deal with phones anymore.
oh no, they stop altogether.
You know
Like
what the ones here are doing? They will sell
what?
phones, but they don't buy phones off the street. They literally buy phones from refurbishers like Swappa
Right.
or like Amazon. They buy them from them.
Because they
They're
got a
not
guarantee,
buying.
they have to guarantee that it works.
Yeah.
They're the
Yeah.
ones that they get the phone thrown back in their face
Oh yeah.
when it don't work.
Yeah. So yeah, they're literally just buying pallets of phones, refurbished phones, and marking them up some. And like I said, one of the stores I go to, it's called Treasure Hunt or whatever, and
Uh huh.
every electronic in there is from Amazon. It's like Amazon
Wow.
pallets. So you go in there and get Beats still in the box for $70.
Ooh.
Return pallet stuff, laptops, MacBooks,
Yeah.
everything. I got my Ecobee in there for $80, and it's a $299 Ecobee.
Yo, you know what's funny? I'm starting to say that. And I'm gonna end on this note. Have you not noticed, like on some Amazon products that you get sent to you, you could tell the box was already open?
Oh yeah,
I'm getting a lot of those now.
yeah,
Now, granted, what I was buying wasn't that like super important, but I was like, I'm like, hell, that box has already been open. I opened it up, like, the plastic was halfway put back on. It wasn't like pristine when it came in the plastic. And you know how the plastic's wrapped around and
yeah. They yeah,
the item sits on top of the plastic. Like, no, that thing was like stuffed back in there. They threw it back in the box and just sent it off. They
yeah,
send that to you. I was like, dang.
yeah. But I mean, sure, I don't have a problem with it, bro.
I
Shoot,
don't either.
That store literally has like 25 of those Sony boom speakers in there. They're like, I think they retail for like 199 or something. They're like, give us $65. They got like,
What?
oh yeah. If you don't have none of them in DC, you probably do got some of these stores in DC. You just ain't look.
Man, I drive past a lot of these storefronts. I ain't seen that before.
I'm
I'm gonna
telling
have
you,
to hit one of
there's
these pawn shops
stores
back
like
up.
these. It ain't even pawn shop. Well, me, I pawn shop hunt too. I'm always pawn shop hunting. I literally go to
Uh,
pawn shop weekly and walk through and see what they've got because I find really good stuff. Like I got a whole set of Cobalt Impact and regular drills. Got the whole set for $100. Just the batteries
what?
on them things are $120 each, and I got 3 batteries and the Impact and the drill for $100.
Wow.
5 amp hour batteries.
That guy could have sold the batteries individually.
Yeah, but the thing is, for him, somebody come in there, needed some money. He threw him. He threw him $80, and it's set on the shelf now. He might have had it priced at like 150, but it's set on the
Yeah.
shelf for 6 months. And he's like, "Yo, I didn't get this shit off the
I need my
shelf."
money back.
Yeah, so he'll take $100. That's how I got
That,
those Sundown 12s. Those Sundown 12s. I got the 212s and the box for $175. Those subs are $189 a piece.
wow.
Retail. Okay. The lady in the store said, I asked her what model they were. She said, I don't even know, baby.
Oh,
And I said, so how do you know how to price it we don't even take them out of the box to see what they are. We just looked up Sundown and we said, okay, we'll give you this much for it. And what they did is they looked up like one speaker. So they priced it like $200.
that's crazy.
So then I asked her what model number it is, and she says, "Look, the guys I got working here, I don't trust them to be opening that stuff and messing with the wires and stuff, so I don't even know." I said, "Well, I don't know if I can give that much." She said, "Look, baby, you give me what can you give me for?" I was like, "I can give you 175." And she was like, "Sold."
Dang, already. Do you hear what I don't know if I can do it?
Yeah, I mean, keep it real with you. I say, look, this is what you've got. You don't even know what you have, and you're putting price stickers on stuff, and you don't even understand what you're selling.
That's crazy.
But you'd be surprised. There's a lot of stuff like that. And you go in there and you laugh because, bro, brand new TVs at Walmart are cheaper than pawn shop TVs.
I believe it.
Why?
I believe it.
These people are
You know the reason
crazy.
why, right?
Well,
Because
it's because they dumb, Keon. That's the reason. And
don't call the people
the
dumb.
customer base be, bro, they got like a used 50-inch Vizio TV at the pawn shop for like $299.
Yeah,
Bro, I can go to Walmart right now and get a 60-inch brand new 50-inch for
for
that
that
price.
same price, for the same exact price.
I can go to Best Buy right now and get a 55-inch,
But no radio. But
4K
here's the thing. Here's the
TV
thing.
for $180
But here's the thing. The radio. The
with a warranty.
Walmart is not going to let you do the layman's version of you know layaway. They have a layaway plan, but it's not the same.
Oh,
The
the pawn
pawn
shop will
shop
let you lay
layaway
away
plan,
something in a heartbeat.
they're happy to take your money, but they're not going to let you walk away with it.
That's why I try to figure out, does anybody even buy the TVs at the pawn shop? I don't. I'm trying to figure
I
out
don't
because
know. I mean, you
the
don't
ones around
put
here
them
be
up
having
there.
they be having like 45 TVs out. I mean, who is buying these?
Man,
For
I
y'all
walked
to
into
be
the
so
pawn shop.
confident, they're that confident to buy TVs from people because they know they can sell them. And I'm trying to figure out who's dumb enough to pay them prices. It's people who
You
don't
know
know how
what?
to shop.
They're probably lowballing on the price of the TV too. Then you walk in there, they're like, "Hey man, I got a TV," and they probably know that it's a questionable television, so they only giving them like $20-$30 for it. So
Yeah, like they
if you
probably
do a
yeah.
$20-$30, yeah, you can turn around and sell it for 200.
But that's the thing.
That's a 200% profit.
But that's the thing, though, right, Keon? I don't know about in like where you are, but some of that stuff is regulated by the state. Here, how much they can mark something up is regulated.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't have infinite markup. They literally have to mark up stuff like based on a percentage. And what most of them use, they use like eBay pricing. So whatever that item is on eBay, which is an outdated place to go in the first place, but it's
Yeah,
it's a place where you buy used stuff, right? They use
right.
whatever eBay says is what the sale value is.
Oh, I mean, great comparison.
Not what they pay.
You only gave them $20 for it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if they get you $20 and they can only really sell it for like $60.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. They can't just infinitely mark up stuff. It's against the law.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Pawn shops can't do that here. At least that's what I've been told
It
by
seems like they
multiple
do
pawn
that.
shop
It seems
owners.
like they do that here.
They probably paying more for stuff than you think for certain stuff, depends on what it is. Yeah, but like if you come in there with an LG 43-inch LG that's a 1080p TV, and they go on and look, you think they really looking up 1080p?
No,
No. They just going
no.
43-inch video or 43-inch LG because they ain't that smart to begin with. Because it ain't exactly
Hey,
nerds working in
hey,
these
look,
places.
if you haven't watched what is it, the Pawn Stars?
Oh God.
They be bringing in experts all the time. They're like, yo,
Yeah, but they
I don't
don't
know
really
anything
have
about
to.
this.
They don't do that exactly, but that's because and guess what? Regular pawn shops ain't bringing in no expert.
No,
They
because they won't even
literally
do the
go.
transaction.
They go like if I do it right now. Let's play the game right now. If I go to eBay and I put in 43 inch LG, and I'm gonna even do 4K TV.
Mm.
The first results that start to come, and remind you, the pawn shop is gonna look for the lowest result. They ain't gonna look for the highest part. They're gonna look
Oh
for the lowest
no,
result, right?
no.
So right here, somebody has a 43-inch LG 4K TV that's $150 used, right? So the
Right,
pawn shop says we could only sell that TV to someone else for $150. We'll give you $100 for it. That's how they operate.
right.
It's literally what they do. I've watched them do it in real time.
Which means that they're using eBay as the
It's what they can list
potential.
it for.
Right.
But the problem is they don't be digging. They don't pull up exact model numbers. They don't go in and go,
I
this is the such and such OLED version. They ain't doing all that.
already. I bet you looked at those subwoofers in that box and you was like, I'm about to get me the best subwoofers I can get for $75.
It wasn't $75, but
Well, I'm just saying, like you knew looking at it, you were about to get a good deal. You were like, no matter what she says, I'm walking out here with a good deal. This is how much of a deal I'm going to get.
so here's what it was. This is what went through my mind. My first thing went through my mind is I don't know what model those are. I know what I
True.
hope they are, right?
Right.
But I'm gonna just ask them. And I say, hey, what model of the oh baby, we don't know. Oh, you know what we don't know what ohms they are, none of that. No, well, we don't even know what that means. So what's that mean? Okay, oh,
Mm,
okay, cool.
mm.
And then she says, look, baby, we don't take stuff out the box. And then I was like, oh man, well, I wish you knew, man. I might be interested if you knew what model they were. And then she says, well, you know what? If you got a screwdriver, you can take him out of the box. You seem to know what you know.
Oh,
I said, don't mind
oh.
if I do. Came right back in with the drill and took him out of the box. Looked at him real quick. And you know what? And I said, I noticed that the box had a little bit of mold in it.
Uh-huh.
I was like, so I added that on top. So I was just like,
Oh,
I was like,
you hit her with the mold tags.
I was like, I'm kind of interested, but you know, there's also some mold, a little bit of mold going in that box. I may have to get a whole nother box.
Oh,
That price started coming down fast.
you hit her with the mold tags.
There was some mold in there, but I know why
Yeah,
there was mold in it. Whoever had it probably stored it in their garage. Some moisture got into the inside.
inside the
And
box.
grew a little. It wasn't crazy mold, you know, just a little bit. I literally cleaned it off that night with a mask on and resprayed the paint and everything. But I
Ah,
still, you know, I've used it. I added that on, and then she was like, "Well, I've had
man.
it for a long time." And I was
Mm.
like, "Well, what's your best price?" And you know what I bet she did? She literally went and she looked at whatever she paid and just offered me that price because she wanted to get rid of them,
Get rid of it.
get her money
Go ahead
back
and push it.
because they've been sitting there. Yep.
Dang.
She probably didn't make no profit on that, but she got her money back out of it. She could put into something else.
As long as as long as you make your profit back, that's all that really
Because
matters at that point.
everybody knows the money is in the guns and the gold. The guns don't have a high markup either, but you sell a lot of guns in the pawn shop. You sell a lot of them.
Right.
If you sell, they might sell 5 guns a day, but they only sell 1 TV a day. So,
Mm,
so if you're gonna put your money in somewhere, you gonna put it. You're gonna put it in the item you sell a lot of, even if it ain't high
right.
profit margin. Yeah. So heck yeah. And I'm about to pull it again on another.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you already got my eyes on something else.
Uh-oh.
About to pull the wool.
Man. Man, I talked to you long enough. I'm gonna end up being a frugal shopper too. You already look.
Hey.
You already showed me how to do the Best Buy.
Yeah, man. You don't be getting ripped off no more. Jesus Christ.
You know, it can't be
Hey,
helped sometimes.
this is like this. Did you buy yours from Best Buy or did you order it straight from Lenovo? Yo yoga.
No, I bought it from Best Buy.
Man,
Yeah,
did you
I went
even
through BestBuy.com.
and you didn't even check no prices nowhere else after that, like the 30 days, 60
No,
days following?
I didn't.
Man,
I
you probably
didn't.
could have got back $200-300 on that thing, bro.
I
You
didn't.
didn't know it. But you know better now. And did you buy your Legion Go there too?
No, I bought the Legion Go on Amazon.
Yeah, because I don't even think they're selling the Legion Go at Best Buy here.
I don't think so
Only
because
the
the
AC.
prices keep fluctuating.
Yeah.
Well, because here's the thing. The reason why I got mine on Amazon was because I got mine with a 2 terabyte.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way you can get the 2 terabyte is that you have to go through somebody else who actually took the panel back off for you and upgraded it with the two terabyte. You can get a 512 and a 1 gig from Lenovo, but they don't do the 2 terabyte. And I was like, well, if I can get the 2 terabyte, I'm gonna try. And they said
Well,
the
how
only way you
much?
can get it was $8.99.
How much? Oh, it was 8. So what's the base price?
$6.99.
And it's an additional 200 for the 2 terabyte.
Yeah, because
So why didn't you
the
just
one
buy it
terabyte was
yourself
like
and upgrade it and save the money? See, you claim you like upgradability, but when given the opportunity to use it to your benefit, you choose not to do so.
look. I did
Oh
not
yeah.
flex. I did not take that flexing at the time. Okay, at the time. Plus, I watched somebody do the teardown, and they were having difficulties with that back panel, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to rip that back panel. Ugh, can't speak. I didn't want to rip that back panel off.
Well, you know me, I'll do surgery.
If it was easy, I would have done it myself. But
Which
I watched somebody do a teardown of it and pull the hard drive out of it, and the way they had like 4 or 5 guitar picks trying to get around the edge. They finally got it off, but they scarred it up doing so.
is it a regular M.2?
Yeah,
Like a full size M.2? Or is it like the short M.2?
I think it's a short M.2
Well, you might not have
for
got
the
ripped
form
off.
for the form factor. It was a short one.
Okay. You might not have got ripped off.
Hey, look, man, I told you I did my research before I got it. I do research, sir. I do.
I'm gonna just advise you to go through me when you want to buy electronics in the future, because I'm a little more less trusting than you, so I might notice something
Oh,
you miss. You know what I'm saying?
hey, look, I'm like a kid at the candy store. Everything looks good to me, man. I'm sorry.
You present to me what it is you're about to purchase, and then I will do the background research to verify that you're getting a good deal and you're not overlooking anything.
Roger that, sir. Roger that. Roger that. We
I
went
will
kind of
offer
long
that
today.
service. I'll also offer that service to anybody else who's listening. I will offer you that service at a cost of 20%.
20%. Oh
20% of
man.
whatever the purchase is.
Ooh.
It ain't gonna be that much. I
Good
do it
God,
for
that's
5. I
expensive.
I do it for 5% of whatever the purchase is. Let's make it 5%.
Those your consulting fees.
Yeah. And
That's what they do here in DC, man. It's consulting.
and for every dollar I save you, if I manage to save you money based on what you originally said me, if I manage to save you money, I also want 5% of that.
Mm, mm.
And if I save you nothing, You don't have to pay me at all.
That sounds like a great deal.
Hey,
Hey, that sounds like a great service. Do you have any idea how many people will be like asking, like, hey, is this should I buy this? Should I buy that? Man, you could make a consultant, a tech consultant for the everyday people.
well, the
You know what
problem,
I was
well,
thinking?
I don't know. No, I don't want everyday people. I just want geeks. And the reason why I say that is because just knowing hardware is not the same thing as being a good shopper. I don't want
But
everyday
here's the
people.
thing:
Everyday
if
people
you,
ask stupid questions. They ask stuff like, "What brand should I get?" I don't want to deal with them people.
oh no,
No, I only want to deal with nerds who know electronics but may not be great at shopping and finding deals.
hey man, those are that's a very niche
No,
segment,
it
sir.
ain't. A lot of people just be buying stuff and don't have a clue how to shop.
Well,
Bro, I've seen
I'm right
so
there.
many people
I'm
get ripped
already in
off.
your demographic.
Bro, I've seen so many people get ripped off. I'm not really gonna run this business, Keon. I'm just being a smart ass. Sorry. I just
Hey,
told you
look,
I don't even have
I
time to
see it as a
game
business
mobility.
opportunity.
I don't even have time to game mobile. You think I got time for this?
Hey man, you could be set this up as when you retire instead of
No,
being a
sir.
Walmart greeter.
No, sir. I would not do anything of the sort.
Oh man. All right, everybody, thank y'all for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more of our crazy antics on technology. You want to stay up to date what's going on, get the real-time opinions of us, watch us live. I'm trying to make this a Sunday thing, so like, share, and subscribe, leave your comments below. No Radio, once again, thank you for showing up. I greatly appreciate it. And everybody, y'all have a good one.